Cox Morning Show, and Kim, what was that phrase you were trying to say there about Window World?
The Window World live cam. You can watch us on the social media, all the social media sites, and yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you to Window World, by the way, for sponsoring that. You can see it if you're watching on the socials this morning. You can see the logo right up there at the top. You always want your advertisers to get attention for that because that's why we're here. It's fantastic. Glad you're here with us this morning. I did catch what you said as I was coming in the door there, Kim, and weren't you supposed to set your clock forward on Saturday night?
Yeah, but let's be real. A lot of people don't do. They never set their cars forward or back. They don't set the house clocks or the oven because it's just annoying, and so people go months and months and months without ever changing their clocks. I know there are people out there that, in fact, my car, I went to go change it this morning and it was being annoying, so I just gave up, and I'll say I'll change it today, but I probably won't, and it will probably be several weeks before I actually do that.
I just assume mine updates through my phone, right?
I would say most are automatic now.
Yeah. A lot of them just automatically
Mine
update.
wasn't.
Is it connected by Bluetooth to your phone?
It's connected from Bluetooth, but I mean, it's a 2016. You think it's just...
Nah, it should.
10 years old?
I would think it would update. I could be wrong. But man, if it's already Monday and you haven't changed your clock yet, you are way behind. You missed church yesterday. You missed everything.
Did you change your oven and your microwave?
I have not changed the oven yet, but I did change the alarm clock, obviously, and the
Wait, you
phone
actually
changes
have an alarm
automatically.
clock?
Oh yeah, you don't?
No.
Wow.
Wait,
I'm old school, old technology.
You don't use your phone?
No.
Okay, guess I'm in the minority
What
here.
if it died in the middle of the night? The
well,
alarm
I
clock,
run that. I have fear of that every night, and I take that risk. I like to live dangerously, Mark.
Alarm clock is plugged in, and it's got a battery backup. So that way, and I have 2 alarms set on that. And then my phone is my third alarm, which would go off about 25 minutes later, assuming the first 2 failed. Because I'm going to be here for you no matter what. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I do my best to have my phone charged before I go to bed, so that way I don't rely on the charger. I fail at that on a regular basis. But that's the goal every day.
I can't tell you how many times I plug my phone in thinking it's plugged in, and then you wake up and you've got 24% charge. And
Yes.
I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah, I think that's happened.
No.
But I stare at it. I have one that sits up, and I will, like a hawk, look at it to make sure it's charged before I actually turn over and try to go to sleep.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we're creatures of habit, and I've a long time ago, after oversleeping for a television shift, I changed the way I handle alarm clocks. I used to have a clocky, and
it would run around the room.
Yeah, that would fall off I'd put it in the bathroom.
Oh my gosh!
And therefore, if I overslept with my alarm or something went wrong in the bedroom, I would hear that thing go off in the bathroom, and then if you don't run in there and turn it off, it rolls off the counter and starts rolling around on the floor making noise.
Your wife allowed you to have that?
I'd say my wife would have killed me for
but understand that I often wake up before my alarm goes off. So it was very rare was the occasion when that thing would have to be used. I would have to admit.
Michael, my husband, will try to set an alarm to work out, at 5 a.m. on Saturday or Sunday.
Good for him.
And to his credit, he does work out really early in the morning. He's pretty good about getting up, but there are the few times where he will not. And it happened yesterday because we'd gone to church Saturday night, and I woke up to the alarm, and then he went back to sleep, and I did not go back to sleep.
Wow. Well, I hope everybody had a great weekend. I mean, I had a fantastic weekend. It was packed with stuff. And hello to Dawn this morning, who's already up and on the Facebook page there. Got to meet so many great people. I told you I was going to the AVRV, the Apache Village RV grand opening. I was out there for probably 2.5 hours on Saturday in the middle of the day. Tons of people showed up. Like, I couldn't believe how busy that place was. It was like the RV show downtown.
Nice.
I mean, there was a lot. There were people lined. It took me 15 minutes to get a hot dog because there were people lined up. They were cooking. They had live music later in the day. It was a fantastic day for that. I mean,
looked like you did a walkthrough,
even with the weather. Oh, on the Facebook page, yeah, I did a walkthrough of one of their big fifth wheel units they had sitting out there. Man, big wraparound couch, fireplace, a ceiling fan. I mean, it was just unbelievable. One of these
so
days.
Hard now.
One of these days.
Yeah, this is not camping. This is glamping.
One of these days, I'm going to have, Alice, I'm going to have one of those one of these days. But I got to get a bigger truck first. I keep telling my wife, I know you really want one of those fifth wheel campers, but first I need a new truck because mine won't pull it. So then you start looking at the numbers. Yeah. So you got to plan for those things is what you have to do. So one of these days, I'll get one of those for sure. That is on the agenda. And then yesterday I went pheasant hunting down in Wild Boar Creek, which is down near Herman. And we had a fantastic time. I didn't fall.
Good.
My ribs are injury free this morning. All the haters on there will be happy to hear that. I'm doing all right. Thank you.
Well, you're not sitting. I mean, when you're duck hunting, it's different, right? Because I've not gone pheasant hunting myself, but Michael has. So I know, don't they send the dog out there and they kind of rile all the pheasants and they fly up and then you shoot them that way?
Sort of, kind of. Yeah, sort of. You do have dogs that point, and then usually the hunter goes over and scares the bird up. So, yeah, that's how that works. But it is safer because I was walking on flat ground. There were no holes for me to fall into or anything like that. And wow, they just opened up a new lodge down there on the property, and it is beautiful. So if it's something you're into, you should call up the guys at Wild Boar Creek. That was a fantastic time. We had a good time yesterday for sure. A few pictures up on the Facebook page if you want to check that out. All right, coming up a little later, we're going to talk to we're going to give away some Jimmy Fallon tickets, I should say, this week for his upcoming appearance in April. You can win tickets to see Jimmy at the Factory on April 11th. Of course, we got our friend Hans von Spakovsky up next. We're going to talk a little bit more about the summit the president hosted over the weekend of Latin America leaders, where he seems to have gotten their attention a little bit right now, too. Our buddy Dan Buck is in, of course, and we're going to talk to Melissa Ohden, who Kim has spoken with here. She's an abortion survivor. She's going to be the keynote speaker for the Missouri Right to Life march that's coming up at the Capitol Rotunda. We're going to get to her at about 8:20 this morning. All that straight ahead. Right now, let's get to our top stories.
The Marc Cox Shortlist, presented by Rhino Shield.
Over the last year, the world has witnessed the supreme power of the United States. We're the most powerful military country in the world. Again, I rebuilt it I spent so much time rebuilding it, over $1 trillion, and now we just had another budget. We may be going to $1.5 trillion.
Wow. Yeah, President is already talking about all the great U.S. military and the fact that we wouldn't be where we are today if he had not redirected a lot of resources to our military.
One administration after another has essentially been fighting the tentacles of the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism. But because of the decisive leadership of President Trump as commander-in-chief, we're now taking the fight directly to the heart of global terrorism.
Well, that's a turnaround, isn't it? How about that? Did you recognize that voice? Not one you're going to hear on this show very often. That was Mike Pence over the weekend, suddenly heaping praise on Donald Trump. That is a turnabout, 100% turnabout for Mike Pence. How about that?
Any jackass can, knock down a barn. It takes a skilled carpenter to build one. Forgive me, but Donald Trump is a jackass.
I do not know how anybody could look at that guy and take him seriously. Gavin Newsom is a clown. It's what he is. He sits around and tries to think of things to say that will cause headlines like that. That's it. That's why that soundbite will be played across the country today, because that's Gavin. That's the real Gavin Newsom with his, 800 score on the SAT, and then what he bragged about. You can see it every day.
Unconditional surrender means foreign troops get to rape your wife and daughter if they want, and everyone knows that. And that has been, if there's one consistent lesson of history, it means unconditional surrender means foreign troops get to rape your wife and daughter.
Tucker Carlson is off the rails. I've got the full bite from Tucker yesterday talking about this. I'm going to play it for you, but I don't want to be the only one who draws this conclusion. I'm not quite sure what's happened to him. I would worry that maybe he's had a stroke or something. But if what the president has said to Iran is, we want surrender, unconditional surrender. And once that happens, we're going to stop bombing you, and we're going to let new leadership come in and lead your country. And the Iranians aren't going to do that because they're hard-line terrorists is who they are. The mullahs will never willingly give up power until they're all dead. It's basically how that works. Tucker Carlson suggesting the reason we want them to surrender unconditionally is so that our troops can go in and rape their wives and children. Did you hear him say that? I'm going to let you listen to the whole bite when we come back from the commercial break. Right now, let's take that break and get to our national anthem.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. We look fine out there on the roads at this hour. If you're just headed out, we've got light volume throughout the area. That's from North County down into Jeffco on 55. And we look good on the Illinois side as well. So off to a good start. If something comes up, I will, of course, let you know. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Triton Exteriors. We take care of your home. It's that simple. Triton-STL.com. Home improvement projects can come with a lot of headaches. We save you time by offering packaged services that are easy to understand and based on your needs. We take care of the details so you don't have to. Visit us at Triton-STL.com. That's Triton-STL.com.
All right, Golden Oak Lending is out there ready to help you. There may not be anybody in the building at 5:20 in the morning. I get that. But you can go to goldenoaklending.com and you can start your application for a refinance right now. Maybe you're up early because you can't sleep because you got thousands of dollars of credit card debt. The interest rate's 30%. You're not sure how you'll ever pay it off. And to be honest with you, that's a tall order. It's tough if you're in that situation. They understand that at Golden Oak, and here's what they do for you right now. They've got a 4.5% 15-year fixed mortgage that you can take equity out of your house. You can pay off those bills, and then you can sleep better. And then you've refinanced all of it into a 4.5% interest rate. I don't know how you can beat that. Their average cash out customer saving over $1,000 a month that they're not shipping off to a credit card company somewhere. You can take advantage of it as well. Call them at 314-567-GOLD. If you call right now, somebody will call you back. If you want to go online and start your application, you can do that at goldenoaklending.com. The point is, get it done. Get started now. They may be able to get you your cash in as little as 14 days. Now, that's a 5.442 APR, 15-year fixed mortgage, FHA, 20% equity with qualified credit. Their NMLS number is 114937.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
Selling your home? Every situation is unique. Find the best options that are right for you from the real estate team who offer more options. My friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. Check out the only agents I trust. Go to thegelmanteam.com. That's thegelmanteam.com.
Andrea, you know what it's time to think about?
Vacation?
No, flooring.
Oh, right. I'm way ahead of you there. We have a huge selection of carpet tile, sheet vinyl, luxury vinyl plank, luxury vinyl tile, laminate, and more, with new inventory arriving every day.
That's right. Come check us out at our 3 locations, Hazelwood, O'Fallon, Illinois, and our newest store in South County on Tesson Ferry between 270 and 141.
Plus free financing for qualified purchasers.
Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy. Best Buy Flooring. Open 7 days a week.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is St. Louis conservative.
All right, so gas prices are pissing me off too. I do believe it is only it's temporary. Remember, the last time this happened was when Russia went into Ukraine and prices spiked immediately because the oil markets tend to overreact. And somebody said to me, if we're energy independent, why is gas suddenly going up 50, 60, 75 cents a gallon?
Which is a fair question.
It is a fair question, and it's because most of us don't ever deal with commodities and the oil market. The world oil price is based on fluidity and availability. And if oil is trading for $75 a barrel because of OPEC has released a bunch of barrels and there's extra oil, that's fine. If OPEC announces they're cutting back, then it goes to $80 a barrel or $85 a barrel. If there's a conflict somewhere in the world, particularly involving the Strait of Hormuz, even though none of our oil comes from that region, zero oil that you're going to use in the United States of America comes from that region. But the world overreacts to it. And right now, President Trump stepped in. Chris Wright talked about it yesterday on Fox News Sunday. He's like, listen, we're providing military escorts and insurance for these tankers. We got to start getting things moving through the Gulf because the Iranians don't have a navy anymore. So you don't have any concern of your tanker being blown up. We just need to get things moving, which I think they will. And within a week or two, I think things settle back down. In the meantime, it's got a lot of people worked up. One person that's got particularly worked up is Tucker Carlson. And I'm looking at this yesterday, thinking to myself, I don't know what's gone down with Tucker. He's kind of gone off the deep end with the anti-Semitism, in my opinion. I don't know how else you describe it. If you wake up tomorrow convinced everything evil in the world is because of a Jewish person, you're maybe an anti-Semite. I don't get that. It's nothing new. There are a lot of people like this. I just don't know where it came from with Carlson because I know he didn't used to have that worldview. But here's what he said yesterday. This is the full bite. It's kind of long, where he explained why he believes unconditional surrender is not something we should try to force on anybody, even a terroristic state like Iran, which has been at war with us for 47 years. IEDs, the Marine barracks bombing, I'm sure they played a role in that all those years ago. I mean, it's been 47 years that they've been killing Americans. And I think to change what's going on in that country, you need unconditional surrender. Tucker seems to suggest here the U.S. military would do horrible things if that happened. Listen to this.
Unconditional surrender means foreign troops get to rape your wife and daughter if they want. And everyone knows that. And that has been, if there's one consistent lesson of history, it means unconditional surrender means foreign troops get to rape your wife and daughter. Everyone can feel that. That's like the most atavistic instinct there is. And so to avoid that, people will do anything. And so that's why it requires that level of force to get a population subdued to the point of unconditional surrender. That's why. And so in this case, of course, we don't have the ground force necessary. I don't think Americans would voluntarily participate in it. I just don't think we can do that. It would require weapons of mass destruction. It would require presumably nuclear weapons in order to do that. And let's not lie to ourselves. We're moving toward that.
Now, at the end, he suggests we're moving toward using nuclear weapons on Iran. What's he talking about?
I'm confused by the whole thing, to be honest.
I don't know what I mean. Tucker's
he's a smart
brilliant guy.
He's a smart guy. Both Tucker and Candace, I don't know what's going on. I had such a great level of respect for both of them, and it's not been great lately.
It's not. I don't see the turnaround here. I don't know how you recover from something like that. All right, coming up, we're going to get to Kim on a Whim. Stay tuned.
One of the biggest gifts you can give your family is peace of mind. That's why I trust and recommend Civia Law. They've helped so many families, including mine, right here in our community with estate planning, wills, trusts, powers of attorney, and elder law issues. I've seen how stressful it can be when a loved one passes without a plan. Families are left confused, sometimes tied up in probate court, and it can cost so much in time and money. But with Civia Law, you don't have to worry about that. They'll walk you through everything and even deliver your completed documents in just 2 weeks from your first appointment. And here's something special just for you. Mention the Annie Fry Show, and the first 10 listeners right now will get a free strategy session. That's a $300 value. 833-995-WILL. Just be sure to mention the Annie Fry Show when you call. Civia Law has 7 convenient locations across Illinois and Missouri, including in Edwardsville, Swansea, and Creve Coeur. Secure your legacy and protect the people you love. Call 833-995-WILL. That's 833-995-WILL, or visit civialaw.com.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Casey's General Store, the convenience store chain known for its pizza and donuts, reports earnings today after the market close. Also, ski chain Vail Resorts and others. Keith Fitzgerald, principal at the Fitzgerald Group, says even in the market's current volatility, he sees opportunities.
Very seriously consider oil when the prices drop. A company like Chevron, for example, can make money at high prices, but it can make money at low prices. So it's diversified as upstream, downstream. I think right now the people are making a horrific mistake in not going after tech, which is growing at double, triple digits in many cases.
The Consumer Price Index for February is released on Wednesday this week. Then on Friday, the revised GDP for the fourth quarter and PCE inflation reading for January. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
I'm alpine skier Michaela Schifrin. I've won the most World Cup ski races in history. But what does success mean to me? Success means discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us, and it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. If you're looking for success, surround yourself with the people who will get you there. If you're an advisor or investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Past performance is no indication of future results. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, good morning. We are in good shape so far as your commute goes. The interstates look good. 70 looks good from Warrenton all the way into downtown. No delays on 64. We look good on 55 and on the Illinois side. So it's quiet out there so far. This report brought to you by Artistic Decks. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Spring is here. Don't wait until June to fix that old deck. Artistic Decks is offering rollback prices and expert craftsmanship for our 25th year. A-plus BBB rated TimberTech Platinum installers. Artistic Decks, making dreams affordable. Call 314-280-0821 for a free consult.
Man, there was so much water the last week and with all that rain that yesterday, as beautiful as a day as it was, we were out walking around hunting yesterday. There was still standing water, like pools of water everywhere. The ground just couldn't soak it up completely, and that's what they're dealing with at Home Shield Foundation Repairs, because that water, what the ground can hold, has soaked in around your house. And then now it's trying to find its way into your basement, because that's what happens. Hydrostatic pressure tries to force it in. It finds a crack. Guess what? You have a water leak in your basement. You need to get that taken care of. That's what Home Shield does. It's all they do. They specialize in dealing with foundation work, whether it's your driveway that's cracked or sunken in places that they can fix, or if it's your basement that's got a crack in the wall, or maybe you need a sump pump, whatever it is. Matt Hayes is going to be there for you. Call him at 314-271-9900, 314-271-9900. Don't wait till the next week of rainfall. Get this taken care of right now, 271-9900. They'll come over. They'll get it fixed. They'll give you a lifetime warranty. You can check out what they do online at HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
St. Louis, laugh it up with Jimmy Fallon live at the Factory on Saturday, April 11th. From national radio to sold-out comedy clubs, Jimmy delivers fast, fearless stand-up that hits home.
The only ones raising tough kids anymore. The redneck babies are going to take on ISIS. The hipster babies are going to battle the evil forces of gluten. You know what I'm saying?
Grab your friends and get ready for a night of laughs. One show, one night only. Don't miss Jimmy Fallon, April 11th at the Factory. Get your tickets now at thefactorystl.com. That's thefactorystl.com.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
From High Ridge to Pontoon Beach, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. Kim on a Whim.
Kim on a Whim is proudly brought to you by Missouri Brush Control. Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. Learn more at MissouriBrushControl.com.
This year, the Los Angeles Marathon has been shortened to 18 miles, meaning that runners can exit at mile 18 and still receive a finisher's medal. Organizers say it's because race day temperatures could hit high 80s, and they want a safe option for runners. So technically, it's still 26.2 miles, but you don't have to run the last 8.2 miles. A lot of runners are asking, if you didn't run the 26.2 miles, is it really a marathon finish? No, but serious question for runners. Does this change what their marathon medal means?
You get a participation trophy. You get a participation trophy.
No.
You did not run a marathon if you only run 18 miles. A marathon is 26.2 miles. If you take the little short route and get off at 18, you cannot say you've run a marathon. News flash.
Half marathon, you get a half plus. You have to cut the medal not quite in half.
I've run
maybe
a 3/4 marathon.
Yeah, 3/4 maybe.
You know they wouldn't say that though. They would have their little finisher medal on, and they'd take the picture of them, biting the medal with their little thing that they wrap around themselves and their beer that they probably got at the end of the finish line yesterday when they ran this in Los Angeles, posting to their friends, ran the Los Angeles Marathon. No, you didn't. This is just another example of people not wanting to put in the work, even though you willingly signed up. You paid, I don't know how much, but usually they're at least $100, if not more. You paid, you supposedly trained, I hope, for this, and then you just take a shortcut in life and you still want the same result. This is such a perfect picture of what is going on in society right now.
I don't know. I know my wife ran a number of marathons. She ran
Whoa,
the
did
Chicago,
she actually run a marathon or did she run 18 miles?
The whole thing.
Oh,
she
okay,
ran.
wow.
She's done some halves and she's done a number of full marathons. Just being around that group of people that do that. Please take this comment lovingly. They're a little crazy, okay? The commitment to train to do a marathon is incredible. You have to do trial runs and you have to do a really long run, like over half a marathon right before you run the full marathon to make sure you know. I mean, the people that do this are obsessed with running. I can't imagine there would be very many of them that would take the shortcut and then still claim the medal. I mean, honestly.
So I've run a half marathon, and I was planning to run a full marathon because that's been one of my goals, and I had something come up, and I wasn't able to continue training. Because you usually don't, like for the half marathon, for example, you're running about 13 miles, but you don't ever run 13 miles.
Correct.
For most training programs. You run about 10 as your longest run. And for the full marathon, my understanding is when I looked at, I think it was like the Hal Higdon program or something like that I had followed, you end up running about 20 miles as your longest, and then I guess you just kind of hope that adrenaline's going to carry you through for the remaining 6 on actual race day. I mean, that's a good point, that people, if they took the time to train for this and they paid for it and this has been a goal of theirs, why would they want to take a shortcut? But there are probably a lot of people like me who don't love running anymore. I used to enjoy it. I don't really as much. But they just want to be able to say that they did it. And so that's what makes me think that it would surprise you how many people probably did this. Now, there has to be some level of shame, though, because wouldn't the other runners see you taking the detour out? Is there a sign that says if you're a pansy, turn left here?
Again, I don't think it cheapens the accomplishment. It is an accomplishment to run a marathon. And then on top of that, I know people that do those ultra marathons where they run like 70 miles. And I'm like, who are you? Like, that's just insane to me. But I have a hard time believing there would be very many people, if any, unless they were having some sort of a medical emergency that would even take the detour. And if they did, I don't think most of them would feel right claiming the medal if they didn't run the other, 8 miles, right? They're cutting it off about 8 miles short.
They're running 18 miles instead of 26.
Okay, yeah.
So 8.
So there you go, 8 miles.
It's just, here's what, if you Google this, there's an article that says that the medals will be given out to runners who complete just 18 of the 26.2 mile course, with temperatures expected to rise into the 80s by midday, which honestly, yes, that is pretty hot, but people have run in far warmer temperatures than that. Participants who are having a tough day can peel off at the 18 mile mark. Well, guess what? I had a tough day when I ran my half marathon and I wanted to cry at about mile 8 or 10, but guess what? I didn't walk a single step. I ran that entire half marathon because that was also my goal. Is I didn't really care what time I got as much. I more so just told myself, you're not going to walk, you're not walking at all. You just have to keep going the entire time. It goes back to, we all have tough days. People just want to play this victim card, and what was the commercial that said that you push the easy button? Staples? People want an easy button in life.
Yeah,
do
but
they not?
Not most of these people that run a marathon. I don't know. I have a hard time believing there would be many people. Now, I know there have been people that have cheated before, have like taken a shortcut and still crossed, and a few of them have been caught because now they have that little tag they put on your shoe, and they can track you the whole time. So you can't do that like some people used to do it. I just think so few people are going to take them up on something like that. And here's the thing, when it comes to the insanity of, I'm sorry, I shouldn't call you insane. When it comes to the commitment of people that torture themselves by running long, because I consider running long distance torture. If you torture yourself by running a long distance like that, Kim, do you remember the Boston bombing, the marathon bombing?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a horrible image to conjure up. But if you go back and look at that security video, I had this conversation with my wife. If you go back and look at that security video of when the bomb went off, right by the finish line is where that bomb went off with the canister and the pressure cooker and all that stuff. It mowed people down. But if you look at it, there are probably 2 or 3 or 4 people that were running in that stretch of street when that bomb went off. A couple of them got blown over by the blast, got back up, and ran across the finish line. And I said to my wife, these people were just involved in a terror attack, and they had the presence of mind to get up and finish the marathon. She's like, you don't understand. When you run a marathon and you can actually, there are times during it when you're not sure you're going to make it, and you can actually see the finish line. She said, I would have grabbed somebody and gotten a crutch and made it across the finish line.
I can understand
She
that.
goes, I completely understand the mentality of the people that got up off the ground after being knocked over by the blast. They were fortunate enough to not be injured, and they still forced themselves across the finish line so they could say that they finished it.
Yeah.
They're obsessed.
Well, especially because the Boston Marathon is very competitive, and there are a lot of people who want to qualify for that, but their time's not good enough. It's challenging to be even a runner in that.
I'm with you.
Some other cities, it doesn't really matter. Like if you're going to run the Go Marathon or the Go Half Marathon, which is the one I did here in St. Louis, which I believe takes place in April still, so coming up, it's not like you have to qualify. If you want to run it, go run it. You don't
run it.
just like the person just
Right.
texted in saying that they ran a full marathon. They wanted to try, never did any training, ran 5 miles, then a 10K, but did it just for fun, I guess, beforehand.
And finished it?
That more power to you if you can do that.
hate
There
people
are
like
those
that.
people. I know. I wish
Can
I
I
were
just
like
tell
that.
you that these natural athletes, who are you?
But you could suck. You could have the worst time ever, and it doesn't matter, and you can still go out and run for the Go Half Marathon or the Go Marathon in St. Louis. But other cities like Boston, man, you that is just not the case. There's only a select number of people who are chosen, which is interesting to me. By the way, just for fun. So I ran my half marathon in 2 hours and 10 minutes, which is about a 9:45, I
There you go.
believe,
That's
average.
not bad at all.
So what do you think the top score, the best time was for the men, for the marathon?
Well, most of them maintain many of them maintain close to a 4-minute mile for 26 miles. It's incredible. I don't know. What was it 2 hours?
What would you
Less
guess,
than an
Ethan?
hour. Less than 2 hours.
I would say a 6-minute mile, but it's probably, like Mark said, probably lower.
2 hours, 11 minutes, and 18 seconds for the men. That was the top male score. And the top female was 2 hours and 25 minutes.
That's a big difference. Are
You guys
sure?
just had completely
Are you
different
sure?
reactions.
I know.
You know, actually, what's interesting, what should be noted, so this one article I'm looking at has the top 9 scores for the men and then the top 10 for the women. And what you will notice is the number 9 man finisher for the guys was someone who came in at 2 hours and 19 minutes. Well, the top female runner was 2:25. So you can bring in this whole idea of men are just built to be overall better athletes. They just are. I'm sorry, ladies. We're all incredible. We can do things that men can't because that's the way God created us. But overall, men are just going to beat us in a lot of different sports. It's just how God created us. Doesn't have to be a competition.
Unless you race me.
Well, Ethan Bright,
There are
I think
exceptions
you
to that.
were number...
Last.
I can't see that far down the list.
That's funny. Yeah. I've always maintained that if I'm running, you should run too because something is chasing me. That's generally what we're doing here. Although I walked about 5 miles yesterday, so while hunting, I walked 5 miles. Somebody said, I'm glad you didn't break your ribs again.
It's like I'm picturing those signs, and it says like, if I get to hunt, I'll get to walk. There's a joke in there, and I just can't make it. It's too early.
Goodness.
I'm going to think of it later.
All right.
Not phrasing
All right.
it well.
Speaking of health and fitness and all that good stuff, a major league athlete is now suing his former team, Kim.
I saw this.
Because of the COVID shot.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to talk about that a little bit when we come back. Stay tuned.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. We look good on the roads at this hour. It's quiet, just as it should be. So if you are headed out on eastbound 44 this morning, really things look fine. No delays through there. We also look good on eastbound 70, 6440. We're quiet on the Illinois side. Off to a really nice start so far. I will keep you posted. Listen, if you ever see something traffic-wise and you want to let me know, I am on X at Susan6768. Just send me a message. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Want a new home in Cottleville? Check out Cottleville Trails by McKelvey Homes. Take a golf cart or walk to downtown Cottleville. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today to learn more about the incredible homes in Cottleville Trails and move up to McKelvey.
Time for me to brag about my friends out at Shelton Automotive Group, sheltonautogroup.com. If you are somebody who drives a truck for work or for play, like I drive my diesel truck to tow my new camper that I just got, you need someone reliable to get it worked on. That's often a trick. But diesel mechanics are not in every shop, and you need to make sure that you've got somebody who's getting you taken care of. That's Shelton Automotive Group, the best kept secret in town. They're out near Warrenton. They don't have, their shops like not out there on the interstate where you're going to see it as you're driving by. They don't need to do that, but you can buy work trucks from them, and they work on them as well. Just go to sheltonautogroup.com. I'm going to give you their phone number, 314-202-4060. If you've got a medium to light duty diesel truck, they can take care of that for you. They'll get the Duramax, the Cummins, the Power Stroke. They can work on all of it. You don't have to wait a month to get an appointment like you do with some of these dealerships. And they also do pre-purchase inspections if you're thinking about buying one. And they've got a great selection online. You can go there and look at their inventory right now. If you need a work truck with a flatbed on it or just something to haul your big heavy trailer around, they've always got a great selection at sheltonautogroup.com. Check them out. Tell them Marc Cox sent you.
Hey, there's still time to join us for a fish fry. So if you haven't yet, we'll be at St. Mary Magdalene Church in Brentwood this week. If that's your area, stop by and say hi. It's the Mark Reardon Show's Fish Fry Fridays, continuing this week in Brentwood, sponsored by Apache Village RV.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings, up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Marc Cox is St. Louis conservative.
Man, I'm looking at these stories of people waiting in line. I heard yesterday at Hobby Airport down in Texas. I guess that's in Houston, I think. They had 3-hour waits at TSA. People were missing their flights. They were going to miss their connection.
So this is the government shutdown.
This is what
issue.
Democrats are doing for America.
Yeah.
This is it. Every other function of the United States government is funded right now except the Department of Homeland Security. Now, think about that for a minute. We have a situation in New York right now where they're finding IEDs, where functional improvised explosive devices have been found around New York City, and our Department of Homeland Security is not equipped to handle it because they're not getting paid. Think about that. I want you to listen. This is part of the report yesterday from CB Cotton, one of the Fox News reporters who we've had on before. Listen.
The NYPD located a suspicious device and safely removed it. That device was found inside a vehicle believed to belong to 2 suspects now in federal custody. So to recap, a total of 3 devices have been recovered in this neighborhood. 2 of the devices were ignited and thrown during dueling protests near Gracie Mansion, where New York City Mayor Zohra Mamdani lives. Thankfully, no one was hurt. But we've learned from high-level sources that one of the devices contained a powerful explosive known as TATP. Emir Balat and Ibrahim Qayyumi are now reportedly in federal custody being interviewed by the FBI in connection to the devices.
Wow. I mean, those are serious, and they're being made in the United States now. And our DHS is not funded because of Democrats.
Going back to that whole situation in New York, supposedly one of them shouted Allah Akbar before throwing it toward the protest area.
I'm telling you, it's something you got to you have to have your head on a swivel these days. There's no doubt about that. People are crazy. And you know there's an increased risk because of what's going on up in Iran right now, and yet the Democrats can't see their way clear to. You saw where they're trying to pivot. I saw Senator Kaine talking about this. We might consider a bill that would fund everything within the Department of Homeland Security except ICE until you give us until you meet our demands. So they're holding America hostage is what they're doing. The Democrats are holding America hostage because they want to screw over federal ICE agents. They don't care if you get doxxed. They don't care if your family gets harassed by these maniacs. They don't care. They think it's a winning political issue, and that is all they care about is themselves. All right, on to this story out of Chicago. Former Chicago White Sox prospect has sued the team. Isaiah Carranza was a 12th round pick in 2018. He never got past the A level. High A is what they refer to it as opposed to triple A, which would be the level you'd get to right before getting to the pros. And he blames the team for forcing him to get the shot during COVID. This article is in the Chicago Sun-Times, Kim. So it won't surprise you to hear that here's the headline. Former prospect sues White Sox, claims COVID vaccination ended his career. He's mad the team forced him to get the shot, period. Numerous studies have shown the vaccine is safe and effective.
Of course.
This is what the Chicago Sun-Times leads its headline with.
Did you see, though, that it says that he had gotten the Pfizer vaccine and began suffering from what he says was extreme dizziness, nausea, near fainting, wildly fluctuating heart rate? And they were just saying that it was rookie nerves. So they were basically trying to tell him, you're just dehydrated, you're anxious. It has nothing to do with the COVID shot that you just got that was forced upon you.
Team officials warned him he would be blacklisted if he didn't get the vaccine. Does this sound familiar to you at all, Kim?
No, it's not ringing a bell. That's weird.
That
Do you know
weird.
someone that's happened to?
Seems like I did.
Huh.
I can't remember who that was. And then, of course, 3 paragraphs in, it didn't take them very long. Numerous studies have shown these COVID-19 vaccines to be highly effective. Really? Because everybody I know that got the shot got COVID. And unless they had some sort of comorbidity, it was nothing worse than a bad cold. Unless they had some sort of comorbidity or they followed the protocols that big medicine put in and they got intubated and then they died. Instead of getting some hydroxychloroquine or something like that, which could have saved hundreds of thousands of lives. I'm just convinced of that as I sit here today. The team is trying to get this guy's lawsuit thrown out of court. So far, they haven't had any luck. But I'm just telling you, it's. I'm glad the guy's fighting back. I'm glad he's suing him over it.
Oh, 100%. I hope he wins.
I do too. I don't know what his odds are, but you could bet Big Pharma is contributing to the fight against him because that is the last thing they would want was a lawsuit like that. Coming up, H. von Spakovsky. Hans is going to join us at about 6:20 this morning. We've got Jennifer Scordo as well. She is going to be filling in this morning for the vacationing Nicole Murray with a business report about 6:30. We'll be right back.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
Missouri Brush Control is helping landowners reclaim their property with selective land clearing. Whether it's for a building site, pasture reclamation, hunting, or trail creation, Missouri Brush Control can transform your unusable acreage into accessible and productive property. Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. 5-star rated on Google reviews. See impressive before and after projects today at MissouriBrushControl.com. Missouri Brush Control, making acreage great again. Tell them Bo Matthews sent you to MissouriBrushControl.com.
Does heart disease run in your family? Give yourself peace of mind with our cardiac MRI bundles at Specialty MRI. Personalized scans designed to give you clear, meaningful answers. No long waiting rooms. Scan today for a peace of mind tomorrow. Call us at 636-591-1288. That's 636-591-1288.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
It's Marc Cox. Join me as I MC the annual Lincoln Trump Day dinner hosted by the St. Charles County Republican Central Committee. It's Friday, March 20th. It's going to be an evening of great food, great conversation, and strong conservative values at the beautiful Old Hickory Golf Club. We'll have lots of special guest speakers. Plus, you can enter the Second Amendment raffle sponsored by Corral Roofing to win an AR-10 rifle. Learn more and get your tickets at 971talk.com/events.
He's replacing his father. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Iran's new supreme leader now in charge.
Mojtaba Khamenei has been chosen as the successor to Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who was killed in U.S.-Israeli airstrikes on Iran. The 56-year-old has never held government office, nor has he given public speeches or interviews, but it's believed he's close to the powerful Revolutionary Guard. President Trump has told Fox News he's not happy with the appointment.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. It is day 10 of the war.
We do know that the Iranians are continuing to take heavy incoming fire from the Israelis, who launched new strikes against IRGC headquarters and also besieged leadership around the capital of Tehran. They're looking to put as much pressure on the regime as possible.
Fox's Trey Youngston, Tel Aviv, where sirens went off again this morning, warning of more Iranian attacks.
Now, the Iranians are continuing their missile launches against Israel and Gulf countries over the weekend. We saw as some of those missiles soared through the skies of Tel Aviv, causing significant damage on the ground below as cluster munitions were used.
It's now 7 American troops killed in the conflict as the military announces a death in an Iranian attack last week. And all this keeps driving oil prices up 12% this morning, topping $100 a barrel for the first time since 2022. But Energy Secretary Chris Wright tells Fox News Sunday this will be temporary.
It's just fear and perception, the unknown, that this could be some long, drawn-out crisis. But it won't be.
At the gas pump, it's up 48 cents a price the past week. There have been searches at homes in Pennsylvania and New Jersey in a terror investigation after another bomb found in New York City following weekend protest against Mayor Zoran Mamdani led to a counter-protest and an attack with bombs thrown.
Federal sources say the FBI now has 2 people in custody and they are being interviewed. Their names are Amir Balat and Ibrahim Kayumi. Our Bill Malugin has learned that Balat's parents are naturalized U.S. citizens from Turkey and Kayumi's parents are naturalized U.S. citizens from Afghanistan.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. America's listening to Fox News.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250, micro.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Good morning, I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk. Monday, March 9th, and it feels like spring close to summer. Already 51 degrees now at 6:04. We're headed to close to 80. All right, several Jefferson County residents are considering taking legal action against Festus to block a data center from being built. This comes after the city reportedly entered into an agreement with a Kansas City-based developer, signaling the project could be moving forward. The attorney representing the Festus residents tells Fox 2 he's also representing several other groups across the St. Louis area that are against data center projects. A bill cracking down on juvenile crime has advanced in the Missouri Senate. The legislation classifies older juveniles who commit felonies as adults and shares juveniles' fingerprints in a central database. It also sets a mandatory minimum prison time for adults before they'd be eligible for parole. The bill now heads to the Missouri House for a vote. St. Ignatius School in Marthasville is officially closing after 150 years. The Archdiocese of St. Louis says the Warren County School has had declining enrollment and also some ongoing financial challenges. St. Ignatius will close at the end of this school year. It's the latest closure since the start of the Archdiocese All Things New plan. In sports, hey, this was a great weekend for the Blues. We like to hear it. The Blues beat the Sharks in overtime Friday, and then they shut out the Ducks yesterday. Mizzou lost to Arkansas 88-84. SLU lost to George Mason. This was a tough loss. The final score of that one, 86-57. And on the flip side, Illinois beat Maryland 78-72. 51 degrees now, 6:05. I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Accident on westbound 270 past Lindbergh. They've got the right lane blocked through there. That appears to be the only serious issue at this hour on the interstate. So if you're just headed out, that's about it. Northbound 270 is still in good shape, headed for 44, and again on up through Manchester. We are in generally good shape at this hour with that exception. Now, a road work note for you on 70 starting at 8 o'clock this morning till 1 this afternoon. They're going to have a westbound lane closed between Wentzville Parkway and David Hochul Parkway. Again, that will be 8 until 1 today. This report is brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door. Simply the finest when it comes to mirror glass and shower doors. And they are located out in Chesterfield Valley. Their prices and service cannot be beat. They have the basics all the way up to the elite. And that's Barron Mirror Glass and Door. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
It's a quiet start to the work week, though. We've got more unsettled weather on the way. Sunny skies, breezy. We warm up again. 79-80 for the high later on this afternoon. Sunset right around 7 o'clock. Tonight, clear, mild, 61. Tuesday, partly sunny. Some scattered rain, possible thunderstorms, 82. Rain and thunderstorms Tuesday night. Some of those could be strong to severe. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
51 degrees now, 6:07. Hey, we're live right now on the Window World live cam until 9 o'clock this morning. But just so you know, you can listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show any time of the day. Listen anytime. You just have to go download that free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Good morning to you. Welcome to what's going to feel like a summer day. Apparently, it's going to be up in the 80s. Maybe setting a record at some point today before some storms move through tomorrow, and then it cools off just a little bit. But it makes you. I bought a bag of crabgrass preventer, and now I'm afraid it's too late. I don't know. What do you think, Ethan? Have you thought about that yet this year?
Talking to the wrong person.
I'm just saying. I already see the grass greening up, I feel like, with all that rain and then the heat. Right. And I'm like, I've already missed my window of opportunity. So it's
crabgrass is so annoying.
Oh, I know.
Ugh.
I know. And I don't generally pay somebody to do that for me. So I'm going to have to do it. Today may be the day. I'll go ahead and put it down today, and I'll feel better, because normally I would wait till like the middle of March, but it's already the 9th, and it's already 80 degrees outside today. So got me thinking about summer activities, which is, early in March. I read Dave Murray's forecast, just so you know. Here's the message from Dave Murray's forecast. He doesn't think we're out of the woods for snow yet. And history would tell you that's true, because my wife will say it snowed on her birthday, which is April 16th. And so he thinks we're going to see another cool down dramatic enough that we could see some snow if there's some moisture mixed in with it.
But the good news is I highly doubt we would see the kind of storm we saw, what was it, back in January?
Yeah, I don't know. Do you know how much snow we've had this year so far?
Well, we had about 8 or 9 inches
total,
just from that one. So I would guess we've had between, depending on the area you're in, like 11 to 14?
That's close. 18.5 according to Dave Murray. So far this winter, we have had 18.5 inches of snow.
Compared to previous years?
I think it's maybe a little above average.
Well, really, it was that one storm
Right.
that was,
Right.
much higher than the typical one that we would get. So that probably threw everything off.
I think that is exactly what happened there. But yeah, it's kind of going to have you thinking about getting out there and mowing the grass. I mean, I'm not looking forward to that. Don't get me wrong, but it will be nice to have some warmer temps. Whatever you got going on. Coming up, we're going to get to Hans von Spakovsky. Coming up in the next segment, we'll get to him with a couple of big legal questions going on regarding the war and what's going on with Iran and how long that's going to happen. And we're going to get to him because we should have some more Supreme Court decisions being issued potentially this week. So I'll get to Hans on that. We got Eben Brown coming up next hour. The president had some Latin American leaders in who are all very interested in what he has to say these days, given what happened in Venezuela, for sure. We got Dan Buck in this morning at about 7:35. Jimmy Fallon, tickets being given away today before the end of the show. Every day this week, we're going to give away a pair of tickets to the factories. You can join us on the 11th of April, just about a month from now, when Fallon comes back for his rescheduled show. Because, of course, that snow we were just talking about got him the first time, forced him to change all that. And our friend Tom Ackerman, man, SLU kind of got jack-slapped this weekend, it looks like.
Yeah.
And that was rough. They got to go into the ATN tournament now and win that thing. So we'll talk to – it's tournament time. Obviously, we had the Arch Madness in town this weekend, and we'll get the latest on that from Ackerman, who's in Florida, by the way. So he finished his coverage of the tournament that he was participating in, and then he got on an airplane and flew to Florida. So he'll be joining us from the friendly confines of spring training this morning at Dark 30 for him anyway, because he's probably had a late day yesterday. But anyway, it's tough to be Tom Ackerman and have to go down to Florida and hang out.
Thoughts and prayers for Tom.
I know. Thoughts and prayers for Tom Ackerman this morning. All right, let's go ahead and get to our top stories, Ethan, please.
The Marc Cox Shortlist, presented by Rhino Shield.
Yesterday, I listened for several hours of 3 United States presidents who do not know Jesse Jackson.
Wow. Jesse Jackson Jr., like his dad's funeral was on Friday, I believe. Obama showed up. Biden showed up. Clinton showed up. Obama got up and gave a speech. They were all slamming Donald Trump. They used this man's funeral as an opportunity for political warfare. And Jesse Jackson Jr. says, no, I asked them not to do that, and they did it anyway, and it is not what my dad would have wanted. Shame on them.
Especially our generation knows what it's like to see Americans come home in caskets. But that doesn't weaken us one bit. It stiffens our spine and our resolve to say this is a fight we will finish.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth on 60 Minutes this weekend making comments defending himself and defending of course, the reasons the war started, and we're going to get to more on that for you coming up.
Things are burning, ships are burning, people who were in commerce are no longer in commerce, and the only people that are benefiting from any of this are folks like Raytheon and Lockheed Martin and the people making those drones and the anti-missile batteries.
Well, that's a good reason, Thomas Massey, to just give up and go home. Just give up and take your toys and go home. I don't understand that thinking. I understand the military-industrial complex. Don't lecture me about that. That is not the reason we're in Iran right now.
On this historic day, we come together to announce a brand new military coalition to eradicate the criminal cartels plaguing our region. And you have a lot of it.
Yeah, there's the president talking to those Latin American leaders. We'll be checking in with Eben Brown on that next hour. But, what a powerful message. I really look at this and I don't think the critics, the people that can't see past their hatred of Donald Trump, really don't see the much bigger chess game going on around the world. You've got to acknowledge that, and you've got to appreciate it. Think of what has happened here. In taking out Maduro in Venezuela, the president has removed one of the key figures in South America, for sure, in the cartels. The guy was a cartel leader. That's basically who Maduro was. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the head of the biggest cartel in Mexico finds himself unalived because of American intelligence, and then the Mexican government went in and took care of it. Are you starting to see a pattern? And then yesterday he gets together with his Latin American and he starts down the same path. Who benefits from that? Have you looked at the statistics on drug overdoses and fentanyl deaths? If that's not a Make America First policy, I've never seen one. This president has attacked that problem in a way that no other president has ever had the guts to do it. You can't deny that. As much you can hate him all you want, but because the border is sealed, because we've cut down on the flow of this stuff into the country, we're blowing up drug boats and we're killing cartel leaders. The impact is obvious. You don't even have to ask. Just look it up. Google it on your interwebs, what the death statistics are right now for fentanyl and these other drug overdoses coming across the border. And that's because of one person, Donald Trump. You can't. There's no way around that, which is why I wanted to play that for you this morning. And you got to look at the long game here. Same with oil, but that's a whole different conversation. We'll get into that one later. We'll get to a quick break right now because I've got H. Von Spakovsky right after the break.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've been listening here this morning to the scanners, and there was a vehicle that went into floodwaters. It was Robertsville Road at Brinkman Road. Apparently the person is okay, but if you travel in that area, I guess a floodgate has been damaged, so just be careful. Accident westbound 270 past Lindbergh. This thing has been blocking the right lane. We had a report of something 170 at Scudder, and it's not showing up as a backup on the map now. That one just reported, so bear that in mind if you're headed in that direction. But for the most part, we're fine. Eastbound 70 looks good from out west into downtown. Oh, I do want to mention this. Route Z in St. Charles County. They're going to close it. All lanes closed between, that's going to start at 10 o'clock tonight. All lanes closed between the east and westbound 70 ramps, and they're going to start doing that overnight for some time. Again, Route Z will be closed between the east and westbound 70 ramps overnight, 10 p.m. until 5 a.m., at least for this week and maybe longer. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
For all your interior or exterior home cleaning services, visit www.callcarpetguy.com. It's that time of year to refresh those tired, stained, and worn-out carpets for spring. Call Carpet Guy Home Services with deals starting as low as $39.95. Our professional cleaning will bring your carpets back to life. For all your home cleaning services, schedule online at www.callcarpetguy.com.
You can feel the Clydesdales circling the field. Hear the stands come alive. Smell the hot dogs, the popcorn, and cold beer in the air. See the crowd rise as the first pitch hits the glove. And just like that, a new season begins. The countdown is on until opening day, and tickets start at just $49. Don't miss St. Louis's favorite holiday. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/opening day.
This season, step up to the ultimate game day experience with Cardinals all-inclusive tickets. Enjoy a full buffet, complimentary bar, and unbeatable views inside Busch Stadium. It's great food with great company for every pitch, hit, and home run. Choose your experience in the Budweiser 703 Club, UMB Champions Club, Proficient Red Jacket Club, and more. See the game like a VIP with all-inclusive tickets. On sale now at cardinals.com/tickets.
Hey, let's talk about your house for just a minute, what you're going to do to protect it. Another chance of severe weather moving through here Tuesday night, it looks like. And, you know, for houses that have Rhino Shield on them, that's not as big a deal. I just got to tell you, remember when the horrible hail happened a year or two ago and it was punching holes in the siding all around the area? I'm sure you've seen the images. The houses with Rhino Shield didn't have that problem. It just hardens on the outside of your house like a ceramic coating, a ceramic shield, if you would, Rhino shield, if you get that reference there. And you don't have to worry about the water, the rain, the snow, the sleet, the hail. It just bounces off of it, and it maintains its great color. It is beautifully durable. You hear me say that all the time. Right now, they're already hard at work. This great weather has come earlier than normal, and they're going to be getting people on the schedule to get their jobs done. So you want to get Rhino Shield put on. You want to be maintenance-free for many, many years on your house. Call Darren today. Tell him you heard Mark talking about it, and the time is now. Here you go. 877-25-RHINO. It's that easy-to-remember phone number. Get your free evaluation today. Tell him Mark sent you, or go to 877-25rhino.com.
If you live in Missouri, have Medicaid, and need a caregiver, this message is important. Care at home is personal. That's why you may not want a stranger in your home to take care of you. You want someone who already knows you and your daily routines. With Freedom Care, you choose a trusted family member, a friend, or a neighbor. They will get paid after every shift to care for you, and it's 100% free to you. More than 70,000 people have already joined the Freedom Care family. Call your local Freedom Care. They'll check your Medicaid eligibility. Don't wait until a stranger shows up at your door. If you have Medicaid and need help at home, this care is available 100% free to you. Call Freedom Care now to see if you qualify. 314-343-1362. 314-343-1362. That's 314-343-1362.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Hans von Spakovsky, the former emperor of the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
Nothing like that J.J. Carafano intro for you there, Hans. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing just great after a gorgeous weekend in Washington, D.C. with the weather here. It was just terrific.
Yeah, and, our meteorologist here in St. Louis is reminding us that the other shoe's going to drop here at some point. He said we're not out of the snow window yet in St. Louis, even though it's going to be 80 here today. So
yeah.
Our housing values are going to start going up. It'll be like we live in San Diego or something. We got to watch it. Hey, I loved your tweet yesterday, because I don't know how people can look at what the UK has done in their reaction to what we're doing in Iran and Keir Starmer and not draw the Neville Chamberlain connection, which you did yesterday in a tweet. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and what's the other thing that I didn't put in the tweet that I think is kind of bears on this is think what would have also happened if Neville Chamberlain was dealing with huge numbers of German Nazis who had been allowed to emigrate into the United Kingdom. And look, that's a problem the United Kingdom has today. If you look at the polling and you look at the riots in places like London, you find large numbers of Muslims who have emigrated to the country who support jihad and terrorism and the brutal dictatorship in Iran, and that's also a huge problem in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, Keir Starmer may be playing the politics of the day over there in England right now, but I heard the president chewing him out over it this past week, called him our former great ally.
Right, and unfortunately, he's right about that.
Wow. I don't subscribe to the New York Times because I wouldn't give them a dime of my money, but they did have an article this morning talking about the people gathering in Selma and the concerns of voting rights groups because of the Supreme Court decision that is pending on the Voting Rights Act. Do we think that might be the next big case that they roll out?
Yeah, potentially it is. But look, that's the same kind of ridiculous hysteria that came out more than a decade ago when there was another case pending before the Supreme Court involving emergency provisions of the Voting Rights Act. Folks may not remember this, but the Voting Rights Act had a provision back then that gave the Justice Department, if you can believe this, the ability to veto any legislation passed by certain states like Georgia and Mississippi involving Voting Rights Act. And the Supreme Court, a decade ago said, look, that was needed in 1965, but it was only supposed to last 5 years. The conditions today don't warrant that kind of an invasion of the rights of states' legislatures, and they ended it. Back then, oh, my God, the left went crazy. The New York Times said voting rights have ended. None of that happened, and this is exactly the same situation.
Have we heard any more about what the Trump administration's planning to do in light of the Supreme Court's ruling related to tariffs? Because certainly they're going to try to figure out what they can do to not have to refund that.
Well, yeah, in fact, the president, as you probably know, almost immediately reimposed up to 15% tariffs just about worldwide under a different federal statute. And they've already, I think, gotten dozens of lawsuits filed against the administration again, this time in the Court of International Trade, saying, well, the president doesn't have the power to impose tariffs under that either.
Yeah. Well, those lawsuits are filed by people who are not just trying to get personal gain out of it, but I'm sure probably being funded by some of these leftist groups who just want to make this more difficult, and they could care less how it damages America. They don't care, and that's the maddening part about it when I see those lawsuits, Hans, I just have to say.
Well, no, you're probably right. But look, on the other hand, the Supreme Court last week issued a terrific victory for parents all over the country when they reimposed a stay on this California law that said that schools can't inform parents if their kids are being advised or going through, so-called gender transition.
Yes.
And that was a huge victory for parents. And it tells you how dangerous the three liberals on the court are, because they voted against that and said basically, nope, schools ought to be able to hide that kind of thing from parents.
Well, wasn't there also a court case that basically said that the well, I'm going to run out of time here. There was a court case where they were talking about immigration judges and the power that they had.
Yeah, in essence, they issued a unanimous ruling saying that courts of appeal can only overturn the findings of immigration courts if there is substantial evidence that the immigration court was wrong. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, that is a standard that is almost impossible to meet. So that's good for the administration. It's good for the immigration court.
Yeah, it's a great point. Hans, always great having you on, my friend. Thank you.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Yep, you have a great week. Hans with Advancing American Freedom these days, and it's great to get him on here. We're going to be back in just a minute.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today, and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. I'm here with my friend Stewie, and Stuart, I know a lot of people are talking about lowering their monthly payments with their mortgage, but there are other smart ways to save lots more dollars, like maybe going to a shorter loan. What about this tug of war between the president and the Fed? Rates going down, maybe going up. What do people need to know right now?
All right, Annie, you know what's going on in the government. It's causing interest rates to go down. Now, this is a great opportunity. A lot of people call us all the time and say, hey, what's the rate? I can lower my payment. I can do better cash flow. And I understand that. Quality of life is having more money in your pocket so you can enjoy life overall. But have you thought about going from a 30-year to a 20-year mortgage? Interest rates on a 30-year mortgage are higher than interest rates on a 20. Maybe convert the 30 to a 20, keep the payment about the same, and save hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Call 314-324-4440 or text 314-324-4440 and ask Stewie about the bagel loan. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Good morning, I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. 51 degrees now, 6:31. Saks Fifth Avenue at Plaza Frontenac will close permanently this spring. 65 employees will be laid off in May as part of that closure. The luxury retailer had filed for bankruptcy back in January. Saks Global closing 15 more stores. A St. Louis County teenager will be in court today charged as an adult for an armed carjacking from last fall. Police say the victim was vacuuming a rented car at the Florissant 7-Eleven back in September when the teens pulled up. One of those teens, now identified as Diamond Bolton, held a gun to her and stole the car. The teens then led police on a chase. They were eventually caught once they ran inside a home. All right, in sports, the Blues shut out the Ducks yesterday. Mizzou lost to Arkansas. SLU lost to George Mason. And on the flip side, Illinois beat Maryland 78-72. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Crews are still on the scene of an accident westbound 270 past Lindbergh. They've got the right lane blocked there. And there indeed is an accident involving a tractor trailer. And they've closed the ramp from southbound 170 to Scudder to try to get that cleared. So those are the two major issues with which we're dealing at this hour. Now, northbound 270, a little bit of volume starting to appear around Doherty Ferry. And northbound 55, a little slow in the right lanes at 270, and then Bayless as you head into the work zone. Quiet on the Illinois side in general, and that includes on the bridges downtown. This report brought to you by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. 100 years. That's how long Overhead Door Company of St. Louis has been repairing and replacing garage doors. They do same-day repair service, no extra charge for evening or Saturday service. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online, overheaddoorstlewis.com. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, let's talk about Michael's Flooring Out for just a minute. It's where we got our flooring. It's where we gotten a lot of our flooring over the years. And I was just talking to my friend Lisa the other day. Saw her out at the event this weekend, and she was telling me about her great experience with Michael's recently, and the fact that in going to the store there in Creve Coeur, the sales associate remembered her and her husband, and I thought that was fantastic. That's kind of how they built the business. It's how Mike Reynolds has done as well as he's done all these years, opening 3 different flooring stores around the area, because customer service is number one. Longtime employees make a difference. You feel like if somebody knows you, they're paying attention to what you want and what you need. And that goes a long way because, repeat business is kind of what makes businesses happen these days. If you are shopping for flooring, I'm just going to recommend you include them in your search. If you're going to go out and look at product and availability and price and customer service, I think Michael's is going to win that argument every time. You can visit him in Old Town St. Peter's there, close to Mid-Rivers and Highway 70. You can go to West County off of Olive, west of 270, or you can visit the store in Darden Prairie off Highway N. Tell him Marc Cox sent you, or go online to igotfloor.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. One question I'm always asked is, how did you become the largest injury firm in the world with over 1,000 attorneys and $25 billion in verdicts and settlements? One way was our financial strength. Medical malpractice is the 3rd leading cause of death in America. To prosecute a typical case costs up to $250,000 in case costs, We advance them all. Product liability cases can have similar costs with an army of lawyers on the other side. Automobile insurance companies have the resources to fight. Guess what? So do we. Many law firms simply may not have the financial firepower to work up your case the way you deserve. And we don't charge by the hour. No recovery, no fee. If you have a question about your case or wish to become a client, go to forthepeople.com on your mobile device or computer. 24/7. It's that easy. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
What's your favorite 4-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our 4-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Midwest Made. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Sandwich with a smile is still a crap sandwich.
Yes, indeed, it is. Colonel West, we appreciate that. The crab sandwich I'm feeding you this morning with a smile is that you had to spring forward to daylight savings time this weekend. And how you feeling this morning? It's 6:37, and it's still jet black outside. And, of course, we'll enjoy it this afternoon when it's 80 degrees and it doesn't get dark till 9 o'clock.
9?
Well, I mean, eventually.
In June, yeah.
Eventually,
that won't be great
9
for us, though, because we try to go to bed early. But
I know.
No, it was nice because I do enjoy an after-dinner walk, and we didn't have time to do that last night, but we were able to go out in the backyard and play for a little bit before bedtime, and that's pretty great.
So,
it's depressing when it's 5 o'clock and it's dark out.
I know. Well, I guess. I just wish they would change it one way or the other. I mean, I guess I'm a fan of daylight savings time. I found this interesting. There are only 2 states that are entirely unaffected by this. Did you know that? Arizona and Hawaii. Hawaii and much of Arizona have long exempted themselves from the annual changing of the clocks. Dozens of other states have tried to lock their clocks, including nearly 20 that have enacted laws calling for permanent daylight savings time. However, federal law currently only allows states to opt for permanent standard time. Right now, it's not an option to opt for daylight savings time, but you can opt just to stay on permanent standard time. But only 2 have done that. A number of others are considering it, and the U.S. is thinking about changing the law. There's legislation pending right now that would affect that.
So the time change now between here and Arizona, it's different. That's what's so confusing about it to me. It's like, how do certain states get to opt out? I mean, I know most are part of it, but still, the whole thing is stupid.
Yeah, I was normally would get to Nicole Murray here. She's obviously on vacation, and she has somebody filling in for her today. And we're trying to get a hold of Jennifer, but we haven't had any luck doing that. I would ask her. But, this affects people like maybe it affects us more because we go to bed earlier and it's not dark yet. That's the weird part of it. And later in the year, as the days get longer, it'll affect us a little bit more. As it's daylight a little longer.
Well, when I hear kids outside playing and I'm, like the grandma trying to go to bed, that's what's hard. People are out grilling and I'm thinking about winding down to go to bed at 8 o'clock, 8:30.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Half daylight savings time could become permanent under a new bill, according to The Hill here. Half daylight savings time.
What does that even mean?
So this says, while most daylight savings time related bills in Congress have focused on locking the clocks an hour ahead of standard time, a newly introduced piece of legislation is taking half of that approach. The Daylight Act of 2026, introduced by Greg Steube of Florida earlier this month, calls for clocks to slide forward a half hour from where they are now.
No.
And for the twice annual clock changes to end. So it would like meet in the middle and then just make that permanent. So there'd only be a half hour difference than a full hour.
This is just stupid. Let's just stick to a time and just be done with it.
Yeah. I don't know. Medically, this is Dr. Karen Johnson, spokesperson for the American Academy of Sleep Medicine and co-chair of the Coalition for Permanent Standard Time, says, quote, medically, a half-hour delay would be less harmful than the full hour delay of permanent daylight savings time and would have the benefit of ending the biannual change. So sleep medicine doctors are in favor of committing one way or the other, and she likes the half-hour measure better than the 1 hour measure.
Yeah, I've heard it's not great for you, and people have talked about kids having a hard time adjusting. My kids, I don't know if it's because of the sleep training, but no problems. You know, my younger son, who's 6 months, he woke up at 8, and so he would normally wake up at 7, but he woke up at 8.
The dogs won't get it. The dog's still going to want to eat when her clock tells her it's time to eat.
Yeah, but that would be your internal clock, so it would still be an hour later on the clock itself.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't impact them.
So I don't know if they'll ever do this or not, but I guess my common sense tells me once you're adjusted to it, so it just changed Saturday, may take you a few days to get used to it. I prefer daylight savings time over standard time. Once you get used to it, what's the impact? Like, what is the real impact at that point? Like, if you just go ahead and lock it in then and you don't let it change back in the fall, then nobody's going to suffer from that sleep-wise. They're already going to be used to it.
I'm just tired of the change twice every year.
Yeah.
It's not great.
All right, good. Oh, he's giving me a thumbs up here. All right, well let's get to our business check with our friend Jennifer Scordo, who is in this morning for Nicole Murray, the vacationing Nicole Murray. Jen, welcome to the show. How are you?
Well, hello. Thank you. I had a few technical difficulties, but we're here. That's all good.
Well, that's good. We appreciate you making the effort. That's fantastic. What's going on in the business world?
Well, on Wall Street, futures are sharply down. Friday, the Dow Industrials lost 691 points. The NASDAQ finished down 359, and the S&P 500 was down 90. Energy Secretary Chris Wright said energy prices will fall when the U.S. destroys Iran's capability to strike tankers in the Strait of Hormuz. Energy prices globally have spiked since the war broke out, with oil jumping to over $115 a barrel and continuing to climb. A gallon of gas will cost you $3.29 currently in St. Louis. And diesel fuel is also on the rise. And while you may have never bought a gallon of diesel, it's still worth worrying about because much of the world's economy gets to you thanks to diesel. Gasoline prices are up 47 cents. However, diesel is up 84. Chicago-based United Airlines is cracking down on loud electronics. The airline will require passengers to use headphones when listening to audio or watching video content. Southwest Airlines and Delta also require passengers to use headphones on flights. The company that will run Six Flags St. Louis is promising new attractions, better value, and a rebrand that honors the amusement park's roots. James Hari, CEO and founder of the Florida-based Enchanted Parks, called Six Flags St. Louis the, quote, crown jewel of the deal, and said it will be renamed Mid-America by Enchanted Parks in an homage to its original name, Six Flags Over Mid-America. A wave of lower sugar and functional drink launches are bubbling up for spring. Gatorade announced a new sports drink lineup with no artificial flavors, sweeteners, or colors, and with 75% less sugar. And Dunkin' has entered the energy drink category with its new Dunkin' Zero that offers a caffeine option without sugar in a fruit-forward beverage. Also getting in on the fun, plant-based meat alternative company Beyond expanded its first-ever hydration portfolio with new flavors of sparkling protein drinks that combine up to 20 grams of plant protein, 7 grams of fiber, antioxidants, and electrolytes. The hydration-focused flavors were designed to align with the rise of functional, better-for-you drinks. And finally, shoppers in upstate New York turned up a rare find while perusing a local antique store. Tucked next to a cookie jar made in the shape of a chicken was a live owl resting peacefully on a shelf. Officers gently cradled the sleeping owl and removed it from the store and released it into a wooded area where it flew to a nearby tree. It was very cute. I saw the picture.
It was probably horrified that owl was. Hey,
How does it get in there, by the way, and just hang out? How does no one notice an owl flying in?
They're not quite sure how it got in, but it was sitting next to this cookie jar that just looks like a chicken. So you might think that a cookie jar looking like an owl is sitting right next to it, but it was actually a live animal.
Wow. All right, Jen, we appreciate you. I guess we'll talk to you on Wednesday, correct?
Thank you. That is correct. I'll
All
be
right.
back Wednesday.
We'll talk to you then. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's Jen Scordo there filling in for Nicole Murray, who's somewhere in the Dominican Republic right now
Punta Cana.
celebrating her birthday.
I would love to be there. She's at one of those all-exclusive resorts.
Nice.
And if you've done one of those all-exclusives, it's hard to go back.
And we're the furthest thing from her mind right now, I'm sure. And she's probably sound asleep anyway. All right, good. We'll get to a quick break. We got In Other News coming up next hour. Our buddy Dan Buck stops in around 7:35. Stay tuned.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. It looks like crews have cleared the accident westbound 270 past Lindbergh, but we still have the ramp shut down from southbound 170 to Scudder. There was an accident there involving a tractor trailer, and they're trying to get that one cleared. Now, other than that, we look okay. We're seeing the usual volume appear on northbound 55 at Bayless. And northbound 270, some moderate volume north of 44, and Doherty Ferry up through Manchester. Now, out west, southbound 61, some moderate volume, headed down towards 64, which eastbound is slowing at Prospect. We look fine, though, at this hour on the Illinois side and on the bridges downtown. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
Hey, let's talk about your retirement. What are you going to do? Where are you going when you retire? Are you just going to relax because you haven't been able to for your whole working career? I don't know. Whatever it is, you got to be able to pay for it. You have to make sure that whatever your sources of income are. Maybe you're lucky enough to have a pension. Maybe you got some Social Security coming in. Maybe you've saved enough money in your 401k over the years. You think that's going to sustain you. You need to talk to somebody about that, because there may be some trips and some hazards that you don't see coming, and that's all they do with the Retirement Advisor Group. They're not dealing with people in their 20s. They're dealing with people in their 50s and 60s and 70s who are either at or near retirement, and they need to know how to secure that and make sure that if the stock market drops, that they don't lose half of their income, because that could happen. So call Bob Kershaw, Tammy Kershaw, Thomas Helbig over at the Retirement Advisor Group. They'll sit down with you for free. Not going to charge anything to tell you what they do and tell you what they can do for you and teach you how to protect your nest egg. 314-993-9494. That's their number, 993-9494. Tell them Mark sent you. Go to retirementkey.com.
Hey, there's still time to join us for a fish fry. So if you haven't yet, we'll be at St. Mary Magdalene Church in Brentwood this week. If that's your area, stop by and say hi. It's the Mark Reardon Show's Fish Fry Fridays, continuing this week in Brentwood, sponsored by Apache Village RV. How would you like a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter of St. Louis, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer? Give yourself peace of mind now by calling for a free estimate. 314-499-2020 or GeneratorSupercenterofStLouis.com. lakeside.com.
Your home deserves siding that's as tough as it is beautiful. At Lakeside Renovation and Design, we installed James Hardy siding, built to handle everything the St. Louis weather throws its way, rain, snow, or summer heat. Not only does it look amazing, but it also protects your home with long-lasting durability and low maintenance. Plus, with our expert team, you'll love the seamless installation process. Ready to give your home a stunning upgrade? Call Lakeside Renovation and Design today or visit lakesiderd.com. Protect your home with the siding that's built to last.
This is Don Tracy, Republican candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approved this message. Election day is on March 17th, and I'm asking you to vote now because the American dream is under attack in Illinois. My Democrat opponents have driven up the cost of living for all of us and made life more unaffordable. Working families need a strong leader who will champion common sense solutions over far-left extreme agendas. I'm Don Tracy, running for U.S. Senate to defend the American dream. Learn more at DonTracyForIL.com. This message is paid for by Don Tracy for Illinois NFP.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
What's happening?
Go, you know the thing.
What the hell is going on?
In other news.
Well, sorry to bring up Cracker Barrel this morning because I can't see the sign or the billboards and not, get hungry. So that's normal for us at this hour. But there's the lady that made the horrible branding decision at Cracker Barrel is still employed there. Did anybody know that? I had no idea.
I assumed.
She's still the boss.
Yeah. I mean, but let's be real. Companies make bad decisions, and it wasn't like the Bud Light thing.
Oh, but it was
Probably cost too
close.
much
At
to
least
fire out.
they pivoted a little more quickly than AB did on that one for sure. But they had what's her name here? Julie Massino. She was at the helm when the new store design failed. She's out bragging about the fact that their Google review ratings are up, and that it was a 6-year high on Google reviews. But what she kind of glossed over is the fact that their revenue dropped by 8% compared to the year before. Probably because of that mess up in trying to rebrand the stores. So that's called spin right there. Hey, our Google reviews are up, but we lost 8% of our revenue last year. Sorry, lady.
At least props to Cracker Barrel for flip-flopping
Yes,
like what they
agreed.
did.
I know,
credit
they
where
did it
credit
quickly.
is due. They didn't just sit there and say, no. They remember, AB would just sit there and, beat around the bush. They never really would address it. And that was what infuriated people even more. The companies are better off just trying to get out ahead of it and say, look, we thought this would work. This wasn't our best move. We're going to take care of it. So, good job, Cracker Barrel. All right, moving on to the next place to make us hungry, and that is Wendy's. Apparently, you can get paid $100,000 if you want to be a chief tasting officer.
Okay.
That's all you have to do is you go eat their food. It says basically you'll get paid to eat at Wendy's, be chill, maybe make some content, and maybe even star in ads, according to the Wendy's promo.
So my guess is they're not looking for a boomer to do that. They're going to hire some 12-year-old for social media purposes.
Well, probably someone who has more TikTok followers or
Yes.
followers in general.
That's how that read. Yes.
Yeah.
Some influencer will be eating the burgers, and clearly they don't actually eat the burgers, but they will for the promo and pretend like they eat them all the time.
All right, Sue, I don't know about you. I know if my dog had the ability to, call me, it wouldn't. It would call my wife. Like Summers would not. If it was a thing, Summers would not do it. There's a new phone out that's supposed to let pets call their owners.
Okay, what does that even mean?
The
I
company-
heard that, and I did not drill down because it sounded ridiculous.
It is. uCloud Link Group is the name of the company. They're creating a new pet phone. At the trade show, they had it at the trade show this year. The device aims to eliminate the pet people divide. I guess it would it's a wearable smartphone for pets with two-way calling, so owners and pets can speak directly through the pet phone to separate each other. My guess is that you have to instigate the call, right?
Yeah, that's a good guess, Mark.
I would.
Since, we're people.
Well, but no,
what
Sue,
is
no,
it?
no,
Wait, so we just call them and can talk to them in their ear?
because they have it's on their collar, basically.
Oh my gosh!
So what do they do? Bark back?
So if Oscar gets a couple yards away, I just give him a little ring and say, "Come on home, please."
Yeah.
And I'm sure he'll listen.
Of course.
What are we doing?
He's just looking at. Okay.
All right, so you'll like this one. RFK Jr.'s challenging Dunkin' and Starbucks to prove that their high sugar drinks are safe for teenagers because he says that they're not.
Yeah.
That he says, I need to see the data that says it's okay for a teenage girl to drink an iced coffee with 115 grams of sugar in it.
Oh, my
I don't think they're
gosh.
going to be able to do that.
No, they're not. I don't see. Has there been any response?
Not that I've seen, but people don't realize how much sugar is in those drinks. You think you're just going to get your, venti mocha whip something or other that's like already $12, and it's packed with sugar and all this other junk.
I like he's aiming it towards teenagers. What about the rest of us?
Well, he wants
It's
to
not
lose,
good for any of us, is
he
it?
wants to lose a bunch of voters. That's one way to do that.
No, but
Tell girls they can't get their fancy coffee.
The teen girls do love their coffee.
Woo! It's coming, man. It is coming.
We should all be busy on our dog phones, and
Yeah, that's
then
right,
we would not
Sue.
be sipping sugar.
Coming up, we'll get to our friend Dan Buck. He's going to join us. He's got a few thoughts on, remember all that Rams money we won? What had they done with it? I don't know. Sam Page wanted to, pay the county's bills with it because he mismanaged the budget. We'll talk to Dan about that coming up at about 7:35. Stay tuned.
St. Louis, laugh it up with Jimmy Fallon live at the Factory on Saturday, April 11th. From national radio to sold-out comedy clubs, Jimmy delivers fast, fearless stand-up that hits home.
The only ones raising tough kids anymore. The redneck babies are going to take on ISIS. The hipster babies are going to battle the evil forces of gluten. You know what I'm saying?
Grab your friends and get ready for a night of laughs. One show, one night only. Don't miss Jimmy Fallon, April 11th at the Factory. Get your tickets now at thefactorystl.com. That's thefactorystl.com.
When it comes to lighting, Graybar goes beyond parts and products. We help contractors turn plans into smart designs, manage kitting and deliverables, and navigate local codes so you can stay on time and on budget. Smart, scalable, job site ready. That's not just lighting. That's like kicking your project into Graybar mode. Yep, Graybar does that.
Conservative outsider Jeannie Evans for U.S. Senate. Evans is a proven fighter and the only candidate for U.S. Senate with guts and know-how to get the job done. As an attorney, she took on China and corporate criminals. Jeannie Evans won billions for working families. As senator, Evans will fight and win for you. She'll work to cut taxes and lower the cost of living. Evans believes that keeping Illinois safe will take more than just wishful thinking. It takes courage, and Jeannie Evans has the record to prove it. Evans will always be tough on crime. She'll hold China accountable for trafficking fentanyl and stealing our personal data. Jeannie Evans puts America first. A proven fighter, conservative outsider Jeannie Evans for U.S. Senate.
I'm Jeannie Evans, Republican candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
paid for by Genie for Illinois.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Jimmy Fela. He's coming to the factory for a fun night on April 11th, and we want you to join us. Get tickets at 971talk.com or try to win them by listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show, the Annie Fry Show, and the Mark Reardon Show. All this week, 1 pair of tickets per show per day. So listen for lots of chances to win. Tickets to see Jimmy Fela on April 11th. Prizes provided by the factory, and we hope to see you there on 97.1 FM Talk.
The Russia-Ukraine war broke out in 2022. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Oil prices have surged over $100 a barrel at 103 now on the 10th day of war with Iran. And the price of the gas pump's up 48 cents a gallon from a week ago.
Now, here's the issue. Iran is effectively blocking the Strait of Hormuz. That's where about a fifth of the world's natural gas and crude oil transits. The administration says it is working to get tankers moving through the strait again soon. Iran has also struck oil infrastructure in Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait. President Trump posted, quote, short-term oil prices, which will drop rapidly when the destruction of the Iran nuclear threat is over, is a very small price to pay for USA and world safety and peace.
Fox's Rich Edson at the White House. And as the U.S. and Israel keep attacking Iran, Iran has a new leader.
Mojtaba Khamenei, the son of Iran's former supreme leader who was killed in the opening strikes of Operation Epic Fury. We know that Mojtaba Khamenei is considered to be a hardliner with behind-the-scenes ties to Iran's IRGC and also the besieged forces used to crack down on protesters.
That's Fox's Trey Yingst. Tel Aviv is now 7 U.S. troops killed in the conflict. The military announced the 7th one last week in an Iranian drone attack. And while the war rages, the U.S. also keeps patrolling off the South American coast, blowing up yet another suspected drug smuggling boat.
U.S. Southern Command says in a statement that the 6 men on board were killed in the strike and that intelligence confirmed the vessel was transiting along known narco-trafficking routes in the Eastern Pacific and was engaged in narco-trafficking operations. It posted a video of a small boat floating on the water, then being blown up. This makes at least 157 people killed and more than 40 boat strikes since September.
Fox's Chris Foster. A Pennsylvania state trooper shot dead last night at a traffic stop in Chester County.
And within seconds, as he approached the car, the driver opened fire from inside the vehicle, struck him.
State Police Commissioner George Bivens says that driver then got out of the car and shot himself dead. America's listening to Fox News.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250, micro.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
All right, good morning. Welcome into Monday, March 9th. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. It is coming up on 7:04, and the good news is if you're just leaving the house, already 51 degrees out, and we're headed toward 80 later on this afternoon. All right, making headlines. Several Jefferson County residents are considering taking legal action against Festus to block a data center from being built. This comes after the city reportedly entered into an agreement with a Kansas City-based developer, signaling the project could be moving forward. The attorney representing those Festus residents tells Fox 2 he's also representing several other groups across the St. Louis area that are against data center projects. A bill cracking down on juvenile crime has advanced in the Missouri Senate. The legislation classifies older juveniles who commit felonies as adults and shares juveniles' fingerprints in a central database. It also sets a mandatory minimum prison time for adults before they'd be eligible for parole. The bill now heads to the Missouri House for a vote. St. Ignatius School in Marthasville is officially closing after 150 years. The Archdiocese of St. Louis says the Warren County School has had declining enrollment and some ongoing financial challenges. St. Ignatius will close at the end of this school year. It's the latest closure since the start of the Archdiocese All Things New plan. In sports, hey, it was a great weekend for the Blues. The Blues beat the Sharks in overtime Friday, and then they shut out the Ducks yesterday. Mizzou lost to Arkansas 88-84 the final. SLU lost to George Mason 86-57. That's brutal. Illinois, on the other hand, beat Maryland. Final score 78-72. 51 degrees now, 7:05. I'm Kim Sainaj for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, the ramp from southbound 170 onto Scudder remains closed. There was an accident there involving a tractor trailer, and they're dealing with that now. We've got moderate volume eastbound 64 out at Prospect this morning, and then things open up. Northbound 270, a little slow there at 6440, just kind of making the ramp. And if you're on the Illinois side or on the bridges downtown, we look fine at this hour. Not bad out there right now. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Triton Exteriors. We take care of your home. It's that simple. Triton-STL.com. Home improvement projects can come with a lot of headaches. We save you time by offering packaged services that are easy to understand and based on your needs. We take care of the details so you don't have to. Visit us at Triton-STL.com. That's Triton-STL.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
It's a quiet start to the work week, though. We've got more unsettled weather on the way. Sunny skies, breezy. We warm up again. 79-80 for the high. Tonight, clear, mild. 61. Tuesday, partly sunny. Some scattered rain, possible thunderstorms, 82. Rain and thunderstorms Tuesday night. Some of those could be strong to severe. Wednesday, rain and storms and cooler, 67. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Mark.
51 degrees now, 7:07. Hey, we're live now on the Window World live cam until 9 o'clock this morning, but you can take the Marc Cox Morning Show with you wherever you go. Listen to the show anytime. All you have to do is download the free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Welcome back in on your Monday morning, a few minutes after 7. We are happy that you are with us. Hopefully you, as Kim reminded you first thing this morning, you remember to change your clock. Because it is 7 a.m. and not 6 a.m. and you would be very late for work.
Well, thankfully, our phones, things like that, some of the watches, they change on their own.
And your car.
Not mine. Mine has not changed, even though it's connected to Bluetooth. What is annoying is going around and changing the other clocks in your home and the oven and the microwave.
I just don't change those.
Well, that's what a lot of people do. You just leave them
but I don't use the clocks in my kitchen at all.
No, I always look at my oven one.
But I'm not in there for extended periods of time. We've got a clock like an old analog on the wall that we change.
It used to be so complicated in cars. It's really a lot easier these days. So we can do that, right, Kim?
I guess. I was trying to do it this morning. And here's the thing with work, though. You don't leave much padding. You know,
Yeah, that's
I don't.
true.
I don't even have 5 minutes to fiddle with it in my car. I have 0 seconds to spare, so I'll have to do it later on today, or I'll just wait until the fall, and then it will be right
Then
again.
it'll be right again.
Yeah, there you go.
Broken clocks right twice a year. There you go. There you go. Or twice a day, right?
I know what you meant.
There you go. You knew what I meant. All right. We got a great show coming up for you. Still, we've got our friend Eben Brown is going to join us to talk more about this pretty dramatic meeting the president had this weekend talking about drug cartels. And in Latin America, I mean, he is sending a strong message that the so-called war on drugs has taken on a whole new meaning as he starts targeting these cartels in a way that we've never seen before. So we're going to talk to Eben about that. The buck stops here with our friend Dan Buck at the bottom of the hour. You know, Dan has been obviously a TV and radio personality in St. Louis for a long time. He's also a business guy. And you remember he tried to start that sports complex up there in North County, then COVID hit and all that stuff. And he's taken a look at all this money the county and the city were sitting on with this RAM settlement money. What have they done with it? What have we done with that to make things better in St. Louis? He's going to talk a little bit more about that at the bottom of the hour here. And then next hour, we'll give away some Jimmy Fallon tickets. And we're going to talk to our buddy Tom Ackerman, who's live down in Florida for spring training. It's good to be Tom. For sure. Right now, though, I want us to get to some of our top stories, Ethan, please.
The Marc Cox Shortlist, presented by Rhino Shield.
Unconditional surrender means foreign troops get to rape your wife and daughter if they want. And everyone knows that. And that has been, if there's one consistent lesson of history, it means unconditional surrender means foreign troops get to rape your wife and daughter.
Yeah, I don't know where Tucker Carlson is going these days. His mind seems to have drifted a bit. Is he suggesting that, like, I don't think we're going to have boots on the ground there, but he's suggesting that U.S. troops would do that? Does he think other foreign troops are going to invade Iraq and do that? I don't quite know where he is these days.
You can't call yourself a Christian and destroy God's creation with greenhouse gases.
No. This is just Tallarico guy that's running for Senate down in Texas. So now Jesus is non-binary, right? The Lord is non-binary. And if you're a Christian, you have to favor a green agenda. If not, you're destroying what God created.
Yeah, the plan is to get oil and natural gas and fertilizer and all the products from the Gulf flowing through the straits before too long. And I may break a little news here, but one large tanker has already gone through the straits with no issues at all.
Yeah, that's the Energy Secretary, Chris Wright. They got to get things moving over there. They will, but it's one reason gas prices, oil prices, I should say, spiked to $119 before coming back down to closer to $100 yesterday.
Yesterday, I listened for several hours of 3 United States presidents who do not know Jesse Jackson.
Wow, that was Jesse Jackson Jr. He was referring to his father's funeral. Apparently, Joe Biden spoke during his father's funeral, told everybody he was smarter than them. He sort of pulled a Gavin Newsom, so to speak.
We have that soundbite, by the way. Clip 2.
Of Biden. Yeah, Biden said that. Why don't you go ahead and play cut 2 for the people there, Ethan?
I told you all earlier, when I was a kid, I had a cleft palate or club foot, none of you would have laughed. But it's okay to laugh at stuttering. I'm not being critical of you, but think about it. It's the one place where people think you're stupid. Oh, really? I'm a hell of a lot smarter than most of you.
That seemed appropriate at a funeral, didn't it? What's he talking about?
What is he ever talking about?
Did Jesse Jackson have a stutter? Why would he even bring that up during a man's funeral?
I don't know.
I don't know. Barack Obama, of course, he basically did the same thing because he decided that since he finally had a bully pulpit again, and a lot of people were watching and listening to him, he would take and this is what Jesse Jackson Jr. was mad about. that these presidents came, these former presidents, he claims they asked them not to get political, and yet Obama got immediately political at this event.
In a time when it can be hard to hope. Each day we wake up to some new assault on our democratic institutions. Another setback to the idea of the rule of law. An offense to common decency. Every day you wake up to things you just didn't think were possible. Each day we're told by those in high office to fear each other and to turn on each other, and that some Americans count more than others, and that some don't even count at all.
What is the accent he's affecting there? He grew up in Hawaii and then lived in Chicago, and when he talks to a black congregation, he affects some accent like, what's her name down there in Texas, Jasmine Crockett, Hillary Clinton. I mean, it's just the mentality of this guy is disturbing, and really it's a shame what they get. This is what Jesse Jackson Jr. said about his dad. Listen.
The demands of speaking for the least of these, those who were disinherited, the damned, the dispossessed, the disrespected, demanded not Democratic or Republican solutions, but demanded a consistent, prophetic voice that at no point in time ever sold us out as a people. And
so
it speaks volumes about who the Reverend Jesse Jackson was.
Yeah, so he claims that Jackson was not a Democrat or Republican. Well, I would argue that he was definitely a Democrat, and I would also argue that he led the charge to blackmail many large American companies, I should say, that if they didn't change their policies to something he wanted, he would basically call for financial ruin of that company. And there was a time in this country when he had the power to do things like that. It was pretty amazing. He used to also praise Donald Trump a lot before Donald Trump got in politics. Gave him awards and everything. But I thought it was interesting that Jesse Jackson Jr., Jesse's son, was angry with the Democrats for getting up and politicizing his dad's funeral. How about that? All right, coming up, we'll check in with Eben Brown from Fox News about the summit the president had yesterday on the drug cartels and what the real impact of that might be in Central America, Latin America for sure. And then at the bottom of the hour, Dan Buck on the Rams settlement money and what has and hasn't been done with it.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, we look okay at this hour, although, let's see, is it Virginia who's reporting a vehicle or a truck lost some of its load, and this is near the ramp southbound 170 onto the Forest Park Parkway. It doesn't appear to be affecting the inner belt itself. Things look okay through there. We had the ramp, though, from southbound 170 to Scudder, closed by an accident involving a tractor trailer. So just know that ramp remains closed at this hour. Now, if you're traveling through North County, things look great. Eastbound 70 looks good. Out west into downtown, 64 does as well. And northbound 270, really just a little slow, ramping on to 6440. 55 slowing at Bayless in the construction zone there. And quiet on the Illinois side and on the bridges downtown. This report brought to you by Artistic Decks. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Spring is here. Don't wait until June to fix that old deck. Artistic Decks is offering rollback prices and expert craftsmanship for our 25th year. A-plus BBB rated TimberTech Platinum installers. Artistic Decks, making dreams affordable. Call 314-280-0821 for a free consult.
All right, you do-it-yourselfer when it comes to plumbing stuff at home. I don't know. I mean, I've probably changed out a leaky toilet a time or two in my day. But if you're not handy about that, you got to have a plumber. You got to have somebody you can depend on to get those things done. Same goes for electricity. Maybe you've changed an outlet before in your life, but if you haven't, you got to be careful. If you don't know what you're doing, it can be very dangerous. It could kill you. The electricity could kill you. So why not trust the experts? And right now you have an opportunity to do that with my friends at Grasser Electric, because they're not just doing electrical work, they're doing plumbing work these days as well. I know you hear the commercials they have running on here all the time with little Barrett, but it's true. One phone call gets you a solution to either of those problems, and I think that's fantastic because we all know Grasser. They've been around over 50 years now. They're dependable. If you're in the sound of my voice, Grasser will take care of you for your electrical and your plumbing needs. You just have to go online and let them know that you need help. Tell them Marc Cox sent you, please. Go online to grasserelectric.com.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
America, look around. Everywhere you go, prices are still high, rates have been whipsawing markets, and the debt and spending don't exactly scream stability. Experts say diversifying with intention is the #1 secret account that all American smart money uses to hedge against instability. Monetary Gold has been around since 2000, witnessing multiple economic setbacks. If you call now, Monetary Gold will cover up to a lifetime of your IRA fees on qualified accounts. Call Monetary Gold now at 877-NOW-GOLD. That's 877-NOW-GOLD. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
According to MasterCard, nearly half of small businesses have been a victim of a cyber attack. As cybercrime escalates, ThrottleNet is calling on businesses to strengthen their security posture by taking a free online IT security audit right from your desk. This 3-minute online assessment provides an immediate score to see security gaps and vulnerabilities in your network. For 26 years, ThrottleNet has supported your business IT everything right here in St. Louis. In fact, no client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom. So visit throttlenet.com/971 to take the free assessment today.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
You're back with Marc Cox and Kim St. Onge. The Marc Cox Morning Show, 97.1 FM Talk.
All of us must recommit to ensuring that law and order within our own nations, and that includes showing zero tolerance for the gang activity, tremendous gang activity.
President Trump there talking to Latin American leaders this weekend because he sees the solution to this drug problem in America is sealing the southern border and getting these countries in Central and South America to cooperate, which in large part, many of them are starting to do, it looks like. Let's get to Eben Brown of Fox News Radio, who's covering that story today. Eben, how are you?
I'm well. Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. My guess is when you have a Latin American summit and you want to talk about these things, these leaders pay a whole lot more attention given what just happened in Venezuela.
They certainly do, don't they?
I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the Shield of the Americas, as it's now being called, and the America is another consortium that they're putting together about cartels. But this is specifically about gaining control here in the Western Hemisphere, really. And the idea that it should be free from cartel violence and cartel corruption, the idea that it should be free of malign influence by the likes of China and Russia. This is something that has been advanced really quickly over the past year or so, especially in the past few months. I think what you are seeing is a renewed vigor from certain Latin American leaders who have, let's say, like minds with President Trump in terms of both economics and national sovereignty, national security. The likes of, for instance, Javier Milei of Argentina. I think any American conservative has just considered him to be their spirit animal in the past couple of years. This is the guy that looks like Wolverine and wears a leather jacket and wields a chainsaw and screams, "Long live liberty, damn it," in his native Spanish.
Yes.
So it's there's a lot of love for this gentleman. The Nayib Bukele of El Salvador is another person. That's where the genius behind the CCOT prison. People have seen El Salvador turn from a crime-infested swamp into a safe paradise because they're locking up criminals for the first time in decades. And so this is, we're seeing a tide being turned in Latin America. And with the extraction with relative ease of Nicolas Maduro from Venezuela, the Cuban regime is saying, okay, we'll talk now.
Yeah.
What I found very interesting, too, was Kristi Noem, who was just fired as DHS secretary. She'll have a role in all of this. What do we know about her new position?
We don't know much about the position. It really wasn't discussed this past weekend at the event at Doral, the Trump Doral golf course where this was taking place. I assume we'll know more as time goes on. There are questions of whether or not this was just a way to soft land her out of the administration. There had been some talk that President Trump had grown dissatisfied with her in the role as DHS secretary, so that this might have been a long time coming. But this was a way to give her that nice parachute out of the way, as opposed to an unceremonious firing vis-a-vis Rex Tillerson, if you remember that from the first term. So it's a I will say we'll probably know more as this progresses as to how involved and how out front she really is. But otherwise, I think the idea of the president's to really rally Latin American nations around him is probably a good move. And it does exclude some nations. Mexico, not represented there.
Interesting.
Had a lot of trouble with Mexico getting on board with things. Now, they've participated recently in this and took the lead in eliminating that one cartel leader just a couple days ago that led to a lot of violence on their streets, and we have to acknowledge that. But they've generally not been playing well with President Trump. The country noticeably absent, and it's a big one, is Brazil. Brazil has turned towards socialism, and they've imprisoned their former right-wing leader, Jair Bolsonaro, on spurious charges, some that are politically motivated. President Trump has a little bit of experience with that. And he's, I think, taking it a bit personally that Bolsonaro is locked up. So there's been a lot of icing out of Brazil over this. But Cuba remains the big thing here. This is once the bulwark of the Soviet Union and the Western world that has been a thorn in the side of many U.S. presidents, and it looks like it'll be President Trump who is able to push that last domino over and end Cuba's communism. They might be able to do it without having to fire a bullet, and that would be amazing. Not only did the Cubans see what happened to Maduro, not just simply that we extracted Maduro very easily, but that we easily defeated Russian and Chinese-made air defenses, and we've done it again in Iran. That means they know they're vulnerable, and so they're ready, I think, to put their hands up.
Yeah, it should be interesting, and of course you'll understand more Kristi Noem's role when the new video campaign comes out.
I don't think that they have that kind of budget yet.
No.
We'll see how that goes.
No $200 million for a new ad campaign for Secretary Noem. All right, very good. Eben Brown, thanks for the explainer. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Yep, take care of yourself. Yeah, that's good. See, his point there is Mexico is not there, which surprises me a little bit, but I would guess they're still laying a little bit low at this point, given what just happened.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, we haven't been hearing about chaos there in the last, week and a half, 2 weeks? But certainly things are still very crazy because of the cartel.
If you're a parent, I'd love to know the answer to this. Like I had a conversation with my friend Joe yesterday, who's a grown adult who was thinking of going to Mexico in the fall and has already changed those plans and is rerouting back to the Dominican Republic because they've seen the video of what happened in Puerto Vallarta and buses being burned and cars being burned. And if you got a teenager or a young person in college who's thinking of going to spring break in Mexico, you're scared to death right now.
I went to spring break. I went to Cancun when I was in high school. So I wonder how many high schools have rerouted that because you would have planned that for a year in advance?
Exactly.
At least 6 months.
Yeah, and that's really a soft spot for Mexico. They start seeing their tourism dollars shrink. They're gonna get on board much more quickly with bringing this to an end. All right, coming up, we'll get to Dan Buck. The Buck stops here, talking about the Rams settlement money. Where did it go? We'll be right back.
Wait, Corey from Air Comfort Service? What are you doing in my basement?
Standing behind our work.
It's 9 p.m.
At Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation, we take pride in our work. If you need heating service, no matter the time of day or night, we're here to help with 24/7 emergency service.
So you're just going to stand behind my furnace?
Yeah, pretty much.
Can you hand me those paper towels then?
Absolutely. For heating service or HVAC maintenance, visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Setting goals for your retirement is one thing, but knowing how to achieve those goals is another. For tips on building a better nest egg, listen to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Saturday mornings at 6 or Saturday afternoon at 4, right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hey, Zero Res has got a good deal right now, and it's for the month of March. You got plenty of time. It's only the 9th. Call them today. It's buy one, get one free. Unlimited. So if you've got a very big house, think of all the money you could save. If you've got a medium-sized house, you're still saving a lot of money because you buy one room, you get one cleaned for free, and you get a free upgrade on every whole home air duct cleaning package that they offer. Just reach out to them, and they will explain all of it to you. 314-474-2020. 314-474-2020. That's the phone number. Be sure and tell them you want the 97.1 special when you call to get that great deal. You can also go to their website at ZeroResSTL.com. But you want to get Zero Resified from the number one carpet cleaner, and it's time to get it done. Go to ZeroResSTL.com.
Good morning, I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. 51 degrees now coming up on 731. Saks Fifth Avenue at Plaza Frontenac will be closing permanently this spring. 65 employees will be laid off in May as part of that closure. The luxury retailer filed for bankruptcy back in January. Saks Global is closing 15 more stores. A St. Louis County teenager will be in court today charged as an adult for an armed carjacking from last fall. Police say the victim was vacuuming a rented car at the Florissant 7-Eleven back in September when teens pulled up. One of them, now identified as Diamond Bolton, held a gun to her and stole that car. The teens then led police on a chase. They were eventually caught once they ran inside a home. In sports, Blues shut out the Ducks yesterday. Mizzou lost to Arkansas. SLU lost to George Mason. Illinois beat Maryland 78-72. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Crews have closed the ramp from southbound 170 onto Scudder. That, of course, is due to an accident, and that accident involves a tractor trailer. So just be aware. Now, we've also got an accident reported on westbound 6440, and it appears to be close to Big Bend, but not right at it. Let's see. Yeah, it's approaching Big Bend. Traffic, of course, is stacked up behind this, and it goes back to Hampton right now. If you are eastbound on 64, it's not that bad. It's a little bit slow at Timberlake Manor, and then again just east of 270, headed for Lindbergh, and then it opens up. 70 eastbound still looking good from out west into downtown, just a slow pocket at 79. And northbound 270, moderate volume in pockets between 21 and the Clayton Road overpass. Northbound 55, that is slowing at Bayless. We're fine if you're headed in from Illinois on the bridges downtown. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
Well, guess what? So I'm driving home yesterday and I see a truck parked outside my neighbor's house. And guess what that truck says on the side? It says Lakeside Renovation and Design. And what's cool is that my neighbors clearly have good taste. And they know that when you're doing any sort of a project at your home, whether it's inside or outside, you want to go with a reputable company like Lakeside that's going to make sure that they do the work that you hired them to do. And they're going to back it up because Lakeside's going to make sure it gets done right. And then they're going to back it up with a lifetime workmanship warranty. Pretty much anything you'd want done inside your home or out for that matter, Lakeside Renovation and Design can do it. So they have done beautiful kitchens and bathrooms, but they also do decks and they can finish your basement or pretty much anything, like I said, windows. And they use these top-notch quality materials that are designed to last, but they're also going to work with you as far as finances go. They're always offering deals and they have financing options to make sure that you can get the space that you want. Anything you've been dreaming up at your home, a new area to host your family and friends or additional space in the basement to have it finished off, to have the kids play around, they can make sure that happens. This is a family-owned business, been doing this here in the St. Louis area for close to 30 years. Go look at the examples of their work and all they have to offer. The website to go to is lakesiderd.com.
A night of live rock you gotta see. Foghat and Nazareth. With special guests, the Babies. Saturday, May 2nd at the Family Arena. Foghat, Nazareth. Get tickets now at the Carroll House Furniture box office or Ticketmaster. Don't miss Nazareth and Foghat live. Sawyer Brown.
Some girls don't like boys like me. Oh, but some girls do.
And Lone Star.
Every little thing that you do, baby, I'm a
Live this Saturday night at 7, the Family Arena. Get tickets now at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Don't miss Sawyer Brown and Lone Star together live.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
From Wood River to Weldon Springs, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, welcome back. Glad you're with us. Getting our friend Dan Buck on the line here in just a minute, so stay tuned for that. Coming up a little later, I don't know if you saw this or not, but John Kennedy over the weekend talking about what he's been trying to do to get John Thune to pass this Save America Act, to get a vote on it, to make sure it passes. He's even talking about the possibility of reconciliation at some point to make sure they could get this done and be able to avoid a filibuster by the Democrats. I think that'd be fine. If you can do it in reconciliation, do it. But he can't get Thune to do that either. What is wrong with these people? I just don't get it. We're going to talk more about it, though, coming up here shortly. So be sure and stay tuned for that. The president with some pretty strong comments on it this weekend. Let's get to Dan, please.
The buck stops here.
All right, there he is. Good morning, Mr. Buck. What's going on?
Good morning, Mr. Cox. Well, not really much happened while I was playing ball down there in Florida this week, right?
I know, nothing at all. You didn't miss anything.
Just a complete annihilation of our biggest adversary on the planet. I mean, think about it, guys. In just a week's time, we took out their entire communication system, their missile and radar defenses, wiped out their Navy, their Army, and their Air Force, and we did it in 7 days. I mean, that's insane. That's just amazing.
Yeah, it's insane that we have basically air superiority and we have naval superiority, and the ships still won't go through the Strait of Hormuz. That almost seems intentional to me.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. Well, while Trump was continuing to deliver and execute on all the things that he campaigned on, the dysfunction and the complete fiscal ignorance of our St. Louis City and county leaders continues. Let me give you just a brief little summary of what's happened in the past week. All right. First of all, great news. St. Louis County Executive Sam Page announced he won't run for re-election. Maybe it has something to do with his pending trial on 2 felonies and 1 misdemeanor for allegedly misappropriating taxpayer money. You know, Page has basically bankrupt St. Louis County while he's been in office. They face a $50 million budget shortfall next year. Man, that guy can't leave office soon enough. Meanwhile, St. Louis City, their parking czar, also known as their city treasurer, Adam Lane, he got called out for making his own parking tickets vanish. He had hundreds of dollars in parking fines that just went away. Nothing to see here. All right, and that's all happening at the same time Mayor Karen Spencer's whining that she needs more money because the state police board is requesting a 60% police budget increase. They say they need hundreds of new officers to try to get that runaway crime under control in the city. Now, here's a thought. Why don't they call the president? See if he's maybe bring some federal forces to town like they did in D.C. and Memphis, where every major crime category is down anywhere from 30 to 60%. Meanwhile, St. Louis City and County continue to contemplate new ways to tax their citizens and refuse to cut hundreds of meaningless bureaucratic jobs and all the pork inside their governments. The glaring multi-million-dollar question that everybody wants to know, where's the Rams money? Really?
I know. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, they've already talked about misappropriating it, right? Not using it for the intended purpose.
No, the city got $250 million. The county got $169 million. The regional sports authority, whoever they are, they got $70 million. Lawyers got a couple $100 million. Another $30 million went to an already over-budget America Center renovation that, oh, by the way, 5 years later, still not done. I'm sure that all the money is going to go towards long-term business-creating, job-generating, community-building initiatives. It's unbelievable. You know, Democrats are so out of touch. The money, their annual budget, I mean, this money, I promise you, it's going to get tossed around like a political football, $1 million over here for a study, a few million over there for daycares, a few million over there for tornado relief, a few million for consultants for new growth strategies that will result in nothing. Before you know it, the money's going to be gone. No lasting or meaningful changes to the plight of our region. Why? Because Democratic leaders have no vision. They have no business sense. They lack basic understanding. You know what their whole goal is? Is that government can fix everything. No, government is never the solution. Government is the problem. You know, the best idea I heard, and I don't know if you remember this, when the Rams money first was determined, they put a committee together, and they were very smart putting a guy named Dave Spence, a self-made millionaire from St. Louis County. He's built and sold numerous successful businesses. Dave proposed that the money would be put into these interest-bearing accounts that can be used for economic development loans, right? These would go to businesses, entrepreneurs, and companies who wanted to expand or bring their businesses into St. Louis.
Right.
Every dollar, every single one of those dollars would have been matched by 3 or 4 private dollars. A committee would review the loan application to find the best ideas and the long-term benefit for the region. Then those low-interest loans, guess what? They get repaid, which replenishes themselves. The fund would be perpetual and continue to support business growth, not government growth in the region.
Brilliant.
So yes, absolutely brilliant. Guess what happened to Dave Spence's comment or his concept? It died in committee, was never even voted on, not once. And right there lies the difference between Democrats and Republicans in a nutshell. One believes that the people in our business community can deliver a free market full of great ideas that the region needs. The other side, they just want to take money from the people and the businesses to deliver what? More government, more programs, more failed policies, which is proven to generate nothing but endless government taxpayer-funded jobs and annual budget shortfalls. Man, the Rams money, I hate to say this, that gift from Stan Kroenke is going to be gone by 2030. They're going to squander all those dollars and probably create nothing more than do-nothing bureaucratic jobs and programs. And then, when it's gone, they're going to have to come to taxpayers to try to sustain those worthless programs. I'm just telling you, crime's going to be up, jobs will be down. The only thing we can count on is more infrastructure decline and more new taxes and more people who are going to move to St. Charles County.
I feel really good about the future.
Yeah, but they are resurfacing Market Street.
Oh, yeah, it looks great, doesn't it? They're putting a boulevard in,
or is
too.
it 12th Street?
So
I don't know.
Thank you.
But you know what? Stan Kroenke probably loves the fact that this has been sowing discord in St. Louis City and in St. Louis County. No one can figure out how to spend this money. And you know what? The suggestions from the residents here in the city when they were holding all of those meetings, I think it was last year, maybe the year before, it was pathetic. The dumbest things possible that you could even imagine, those were the suggestions. And not a single person even brought up, to my knowledge, some sort of hey, let's maybe beef up the police department to make our streets safer. They were talking about what was it, Mark? Like a park or something. Not that I'm against parks, but I mean, really, that's the priority? No.
Well, and the business model that Spence put forward made so much sense because that creates new tax income to do the projects that they want to do, right? But it's perpetual. The fund would never go away because they'd be issued in loans, and people would have to pay them back with interest. And sure, you'd probably have a few companies that wouldn't make it, and they would default on those loans. But the vast majority would be creating new jobs, new opportunities, new environments, fill all those empty office buildings downtown. And it's aggravating to no end that nobody that I have heard have talked about this money being put towards economic development.
Squandered.
Business loans. I mean, sometimes the biggest hurdle for small businesses is that 20 to 25% down payment that banks require to get a good idea funded, right? Yeah. And if it's a big idea, that's a lot of money. So the question becomes, why wouldn't they put a little bit of that money to help those entrepreneurs get that down payment funding, be partners in those businesses, and allow the Rams money to actually generate something new versus just funding, government bureaucracy.
Because then they lose control of it at the end of the day, and that's not something they're willing to do for sure.
Hit the nail on the head right
absolutely,
there.
Man. Glad you're back in town. Glad you had a good trip.
Yeah, we did. Had a great tournament, man. Thanks. Have a great week, everybody.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Dan Buck there. The Buck stops here. He's absolutely right. Where did the money go? Why not use it for something positive to help the business community? Kim, what are we talking about in Kim on a Whim?
Well, we were kind of talking about this just before Dan joined us, that Trump is very understandably frustrated that they are not prioritizing the Save America Act, and he has some strong words, making some threats if they don't get that across the finish line.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. Well, as far as the roads go, it's not horrible this morning, but a few things to mention. There was an earlier accident on westbound 6440 near Big Bend, and it's caused a massive delay in that area. Westbound back through Kings Highway, eastbound is back to the inner belt. Well, eastbound 6440 this morning was a little slow out at Lake St. Louis Boulevard, but now we've got a sunshine slowdown, and this is in pockets approaching Clarkson through Ballas, and then things get a little bit better, but it's really slow ramping from southbound 270 on to eastbound 6440 this morning. Now, if you're 70 eastbound, it's not as bad. A little moderate volume here and there into downtown. Northbound 270, moderate volume in pockets 21 through 64. 55, that's slowing at Bayless. And there is some moderate volume for the length of the Poplar Street Bridge. This report brought to you by Point with an E Pest Control. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Tired of mice? Point Pest Control finds their entry points, eliminates the infestation, and seals them out for good with our exclusion services. Mention Annie to get 10% off on top of any other special. Call 636-798-0023. Visit pointpestcontrol.com.
Hey, let's talk for just a minute about all that rain we had. I know the yard is still squishy in my backyard for sure. It's still just kind of hovering there right near the surface. Now, if you have foundation problems, you have sweated this out for a week. If it hadn't started leaking yet, maybe you've dodged a bullet. But for a lot of people, rains like that, heavy sustained rains, and we're in for more of those this spring, is going to lead to water problems in your basement. Let Matt Hayes take care of it with Home Shield Foundation repairs. He guarantees his work. He gives you a lifetime warranty on it, so you can sleep easily the next time the rain is beating down on your roof. You don't have to worry that it's somehow finding its way into your basement. Just call him and let him come out, and he'll take a look at it and prescribe a problem, I should say, to fix the issue and not try to sell you a package like some of these companies will do. 314-271-9900. That's his phone number, 271-9900. Get you to my friend Matt Hayes at Home Shield Foundation Repairs, online anytime at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
This month, 97.1 FM Talk in Action spotlights Helmets First, a nonprofit promoting kid safety through free bike helmets, education, and partnerships with local police. Officers help fit helmets and connect with kids in the community. Learn how you can help at helmetsfirst.com.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
When you've been injured in an accident, hurt on the job, or in a medical mishap, there are many reasons to call Morgan & Morgan. But here's reason number 5. We try more cases than anyone in America by a wide margin. We are on approximately 150 dockets a week and win a lot. Go to forthepeople.com to see our verdicts and results. I believe our results give you the best chance of a fair, fast, and just settlement. Insurance companies know who we are by reputation. Imagine me doing this ad if it wasn't true. They would be laughing. Trust me, nobody is laughing. Their employees and adjusters often hire us when they're hurt. They know, and now you know. All law firms are not alike, not even close. With over $30 billion collected for our clients, we became America's largest injury firm for a reason. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. Kim on a Whim.
Kim on a Whim is proudly brought to you by Missouri Brush Control. Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. Learn more at MissouriBrushControl.com.
The Senate is notoriously slow. Sometimes it takes us months to get nothing done. But the SAVE Act is a priority. I'm a co-author. John, I agree with everything the president said in his tweet, though I haven't seen it. John Thune has promised to bring the bill to the floor. I don't know when he's going to do that, but he is going to do that. And I anticipate it will be in the next few weeks. Will it pass? I think so. It just depends. We've got some free range. The Democrats will be against it, but we've got some free range chickens on the Republican side, and we're going to have to go gather them up.
I need to know if Senator John Kennedy comes up with those lines, or if he has a staffer who writes them and he just enjoys being the one to get to deliver them.
I don't know. He's good at it though, isn't he? We got some free range chickens. I would say they're gutless chickens is what they are. They are chickens in the truest sense of the word. They run from any controversy. Mm-hmm. John Cornyn is certainly on my list right now of people.
Yeah.
Lisa Murkowski has always been on that list of people. You just don't know what they're going to do.
And what Senator Kennedy is referring to is a Truth Social post that President Trump put out yesterday morning that says that he will not sign any other bills until the Save America Act is passed. He says, not the watered-down version, go for the gold. Must show voter ID, proof of citizenship, no mail-in ballots except for military, illness, and disability. And he went on to say it must be done immediately. It supersedes everything else, in big capital letters, must go to the front of the line.
I admire what Ken Paxton did. I mean, I think it was a brilliant stroke on his part to say, listen, I'll drop out of the Senate race in Texas if you'll just pass the SAVE Act. John Cornyn, vote to pass the SAVE Act, and I'll drop out of my race against you. And it puts Cornyn in a really twisted position because if he's the one blocking this, one of the ones blocking it, he and McConnell, that was a master stroke.
Mm-hmm. You just wonder the holdup, and you hear so much about the standing filibuster and that they're reluctant to do that. I don't know what the hesitancy is on that, because it would force Democrats to get up there and tap dance for an endless amount of hours. I mean, we've seen some incredibly long filibusters, and it's funny, the scene that comes to my brain is actually from Parks and Recreation. It was a city council meeting, and Leslie Knope, do you remember that scene where she's trying
to stay awake?
Yeah. But she's like on roller skates and she has to go to the bathroom. And I don't even know what the rules would be in Congress.
Well, they've changed them so many times.
Can one person tap another one and say, hey, I have to go to the bathroom, and then the next Congress member can go up there and continue the filibuster?
So. Yeah.
Because that's not that hard. If you can have 10, 15 people who are part of this filibuster.
Well, it hasn't been that long since they've done it, because I remember seeing Ted Cruz reading like Dr. Seuss up there during a filibuster one time.
I love that.
This is what else Kennedy had to say when Shannon Bream asked him about the possibility of reconciliation. Listen.
So to get to 60, though, is the thought that this would be a reconciliation bill so you don't have to get to the 60? Is there a single Democrat? Are there several Democrats who would vote with you on the SAVE?
I would do it through reconciliation. We could short circuit all of this, but I'm in a minority. Mm-hmm. I have chased Senator Thune, my good friend, like he stole Thanksgiving to try to get him to do a reconciliation. This would be perfect for reconciliation.
Yeah,
okay,
but Thune won't do it. John Thune won't do it. And that's the easiest path to get the SAVE Act done. Why won't he do it? Somebody needs to hold his feet to the fire.
Mm-hmm. And time is of the essence, because midterm elections will be here before we know it, and this needs to be in place for midterm elections.
This is why I didn't want that guy to be the Senate leader, right? He's shown his stripes before, and this is what I was afraid of. So, yeah, we're going to get a vote to it. We're going to get to a vote on it. We're going to get to a vote on it. If the vote is simply to hold a vote and you know it's going to fail, what's the purpose of that? Devise a plan to make sure it passes. That's what I want, John Thune. That's what we all want. Get the SAVE Act done, please. All right, remember, Jimmy Fallon is coming to the factory on April 11th. We're going to give away a pair of tickets every day this week, and we'll give away a pair in the next hour. Stay tuned for that. We'll talk to Melissa Ohden as well. She's going to be in town to speak to the Missouri Right to Life Lobby Day March. She is an abortion survivor herself. You'll hear her story about 8:20.
Public schools, like public libraries, should be free and open to all. Open enrollment allows parents to choose the school that's the best fit for their children. Maybe another school has a wider curriculum, is bigger or smaller. Maybe a kid is being bullied and would be more comfortable at another school. 75% of parents favor open enrollment. Open enrollment programs now exist in 43 states, and Missouri should join them. Our next-door neighbor, Kansas, has one of the strongest open enrollment policies in the nation. Kansas parents are trusted with choices and options, while Missouri parents must move out of their home to change public schools. And it's a trend. Nationwide, the percentage of students going to their chosen public school has steadily increased. Assigning kids to schools based on their zip code is the old way. Open enrollment is a better way. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
The team at Ricken Financial want to help you make educated and informed decisions about your retirement strategies.
Why not rely on individuals who can optimize your thinking and optimize your plan and optimize all the resources and show you what's all available to be able to make a truly informed decision?
Call Ricken Financial today, 314-207-6211, or online at rickenfinancial.com, and join us for Kickin' with the Rickens, Sunday at 1 p.m. here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor.
Missouri Brush Control is helping landowners reclaim their property with selective land clearing. Whether it's for a building site, pasture reclamation, hunting, or trail creation, Missouri Brush Control can transform your unusable acreage into accessible and productive property. Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. 5-star rated on Google reviews. See impressive before and after projects today at MissouriBrushControl.com. Missouri Brush Control, making acreage great again. Tell them Bo Matthews sent you to MissouriBrushControl.com.
Conservative outsider Jeannie Evans for U.S. Senate. Evans is a proven fighter and the only candidate for U.S. Senate with guts and know-how to get the job done. As an attorney, she took on China and corporate criminals. Jeannie Evans won billions for working families. As senator, Evans will fight and win for you. She'll work to cut taxes and lower the cost of living. Evans believes that keeping Illinois safe will take more than just wishful thinking. It takes courage, and Jeannie Evans has the record to prove it. Evans will always be tough on crime. She'll hold China accountable for trafficking fentanyl and stealing our personal data. Jeannie Evans puts America first. A proven fighter, conservative outsider Jeannie Evans for U.S. Senate.
I'm Jeannie Evans, Republican candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Jeannie for Illinois.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777. 97.1 FM Talk in Action is shining a spotlight on Helmets First, a community nonprofit working to prevent childhood injuries through helmet access. Officers help distribute free, properly fitted helmets, teach kids and parents safe riding habits, and build positive relationships with families across the community. With growing demand, Helmets First relies on donations, volunteers, and community support to expand these police-led safety initiatives. Learn how you can help and protect more kids on every ride at helmetsfirst.com.
With Iran is getting costlier. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. As Iranian counterattacks have other Gulf countries slowing or stopping fuel production and shipping, the price of oil has topped $100 a barrel for the first time since 2022, now at 103.
The president is calling for ships to have courage and to just sail. There is one ship that crossed the strait in the past 24 hours, and that ship, according to the folks at Kepler, is called the Rosanna. It was carrying corn, not oil. Since a fifth of the world's oil goes through that strait, you can see why gas prices are surging.
Lawrence, outside a gas station in Englewood, New Jersey, regular has surged 48 cents a gallon since last Monday. President Trump wrote on Truth Social, this is short term and a small price to pay for peace, adding prices will drop rapidly when the destruction of the Iran nuclear threat is over. And on the 10th day of the war,
we know the Israelis are continuing to go after new targets inside of Iran. Even just a few minutes ago, an announcement was made by the Israeli military that they are striking new positions inside Iranian territory. Overnight, they went after more headquarters belonging to the IRGC, besieged forces, and some of those missile launching positions. Still, the Iranians are getting fire off to the Gulf and here to Israel with more sirens overnight.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv, where they keep shooting missiles down. Iran has a new supreme leader. Mojtaba Khamenei, elevated to replace his father, who was killed on day one of the war.
The 56-year-old has never held government office, nor has he given public speeches or interviews, but his behind-the-scenes influence has been rumored for years. It's believed he's close to the powerful Revolutionary Guard. And with little known about the direction he plans to take his country, his elevation represents continuity.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. It's now 7 American troops dead in the war and Iranian drone attacks. And the U.S. military has blown up another suspected drug smuggling boat off the South American coast, killing 6 people considered narco-terrorists. America's listening to Fox News.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250, micro.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Good morning, I'm Kim St-Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. Wow, a beautiful start here to this Monday morning, March 9th. It is coming up on 8:04, 51 degrees. We're going to be getting close to 80 degrees later on today. Enjoy it. All right, making headlines. We have just learned here in the last hour a teen was shot overnight near Busch Stadium. The teen was shot twice in the back just after midnight there at the intersection of South Broadway and Siri. As of now, we know 3 people, 2 of them juveniles, have been taken into custody. Several Jefferson County residents are considering taking legal action against Festus to block a data center from being built. This comes after the city reportedly entered into an agreement with a Kansas City-based developer, signaling the project could be moving forward. The attorney representing those Festus residents tells Fox 2 he's also representing several other groups across the St. Louis area that are against data center projects. A bill cracking down on juvenile crime has advanced in the Missouri Senate. The legislation classifies older juveniles who commit felonies as adults and shares juveniles' fingerprints in a central database. It also sets a mandatory minimum prison sentence for adults before they'd be eligible for parole. Bill now heads to the Missouri House. St. Ignatius and Marthasville closing after 150 years. Archdiocese of St. Louis says the Warren County schools had declining enrollment and ongoing financial challenges. St. Ignatius will close at the end of this school year. It's the latest closure since the start of the Archdiocese All Things New plan. In sports, it was a great weekend for the Blues. They beat the Sharks on Friday, and that was an overtime by the way. Then they shut out the Ducks yesterday. Mizzou, on the other hand, lost to Arkansas 88-84. SLU lost to George Mason 86-57. Brutal. But Illinois did beat Maryland 78-72. 51 degrees now, 8:05. I'm Kim St-Ange for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Accident westbound 6440 near Big Bend in the left lane. That's created a jam back near Kings Highway. Eastbound traffic on 64. Look for slow pockets approaching Clarkson through Big Bend. Southbound 270, moderate volume, but it stretches from Page down through Ladue Road, and northbound has slow pockets approaching Gravois up through Ladue Road. Southbound 170, a little bit of volume headed down towards 64, and southbound still slowing at Scudder. We had the ramp to Scudder shut down because of an accident. 70 eastbound looks pretty good from out west into the city. 55 slowing at Bayless. Quiet on the Illinois side and on the bridges downtown. This report brought to you by Artistic Decks. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Spring is here. Don't wait until June to fix that old deck. Artistic Decks is offering rollback prices and expert craftsmanship for our 25th year. A-plus BBB rated Timber Tech Platinum installers. Artistic Decks, making dreams affordable. Call 314-280-0821 for a free consult.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
It's a quiet start to the work week, though. We've got more unsettled weather on the way. Sunny skies, breezy. We warm up again. 79-80 for the high. Tonight, clear, mild, 61. Tuesday, partly sunny. Some scattered rain, possible thunderstorms, 82. Rain and thunderstorms Tuesday night. Some of those could be strong to severe. Wednesday, rain and storms and cooler, 67. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Martin.
Already in the 50s here at 8:07. We are live now on the Window World live cam until 9, but you can listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show any time of the day or wherever you are. All you have to do is download our free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
All right, welcome back into the show. A few minutes after 8 here, and up in New York City this morning, they're holding a live news conference right now because somebody's been throwing improvised explosive devices around the city. And they've got a guy in custody. There's a video of him being arrested. Why don't we pull this up? Jessica Tisch, the New York Police Department commissioner, is talking live right now. Ethan, let's see what she's saying.
Those charges. After that complaint is made public, which I expect to occur later today, I will be able to say much more about the investigation and what we have learned in this case. But it is crucial that we respect that process and not get ahead of it. That being said, I can confirm this morning that this is being investigated as an act of ISIS-inspired terrorism. I can also provide some additional information building on my remarks from Saturday evening. At that time, we were beginning to conduct preliminary analysis of two devices that were ignited and deployed earlier that day, one in a crosswalk on East End Avenue and East 87th Street, and the other on the west side of East End Avenue between East 86th and East 87th Streets. That testing was performed by the NYPD's bomb squad and FBI special agent bomb technicians in consultation with an FBI chemist. Preliminary test results determined that these were not hoax devices nor smoke bombs. They were improvised explosive devices that could have caused serious injury or death. Part of our initial investigation was to determine what energetic substance, if any, was used in the two devices, and our analysis showed that one of the devices deployed by the subjects contained the substance triacetone triperoxide, known as TATP.
Yeah.
Now, TATP is a dangerous and highly volatile.
That is Jessica Tisch. She is the New York Police Department commissioner. They're holding a live news conference up there this weekend because of what happened this weekend with these IEDs being thrown around. That and they think it's ISIS related. She just said.
And I had heard that they are U.S. citizens, but that one of them had yelled Allah Akbar when they had thrown that. Now, This is very close, right, to Mamdani, his home where he's staying with his wife. I was hearing that they were home at the time. Now, I don't know what's going on, but have you heard the controversy with Mamdani and his wife and a post that she had supposedly liked on social media that called October 7th a mass rape hoax?
I did not. That nothing about Mamdani surprises me.
And then it says she's also liked posts that referred. I'm not trying to just take away and reroute to this, but it also says that she liked posts that referred to the attack as collective liberation.
Well, you have to wonder in a situation like this why is the insinuation here that they were trying to attack Mamdani or the crowd that had gathered near his house?
And that's what I'm not clear about either.
We don't know. We don't know, but it sounds to me like New York's got its hands full right now. If we get any more information on that, we will. They said they're going to release some more information on the suspect a little bit later today, so be sure and stay tuned for that. We are going to talk to Melissa Ohden coming up in just a few minutes. She is a abortion survivor. So she survived a botched abortion as a child. She is now very much an activist in that and will be appearing here for the Missouri Right to Life Lobby Day that's coming up on March 11th. I inadvertently referred to it as a Lobby Day March, but it's on March 11th at the Capitol down in Jeff City, where they're trying to get some attention on this.
Yeah, this was a chemical abortion attempt, and she survived it, and now she goes and tries to give women hope around the country and I think around the world. Yeah. But, I mean, it's incredible when you hear her story, so I think people will be very interested to hear what she has to say.
We will talk to her coming up. We're going to talk to Tom Ackerman at the bottom of the hour about the big blowout against SLU, which was by quite a surprise. Puts a little more pressure on them heading into their own tournament. So we've got all that for you still ahead, but right now I want to get to some of our top stories, please.
The Marc Cox Shortlist, presented by Rhino Shield.
If we continue between now and this November with a laser-like focus on trying to improve the quality of people's lives and helping them, make sure the economy works for them, then we can have a resounding November.
Oh, it's Adam Shifty Schiff. If his lips are moving, he's lying. What is the guy talking about now? The midterms? I mean, come on. That's all they care about is regaining a little bit of power to try to stop all of Donald Trump's momentum and success.
Any jackass can, knock down a barn. It takes a skilled carpenter to build one. Forgive me, but Donald Trump is a jackass.
Not nearly as much as you, Gavin Newsom. I just the guy would do anything to get a headline. So now he's got to take to cussing, and I guess in this particular case, cussing out the president because he doesn't like his policies, of course, and he wants to be president in 28.
On this historic day, we come together to announce a brand new military coalition to eradicate the criminal cartels plaguing our region, and you have a lot of it.
Yeah, there's the president talking about the Latin American leaders who met with him this weekend to talk about drug cartels, which he seems to be slowly but systematically dismantling. I love that.
I've seen a man overdose and die in front of me on the metro. And whenever any of these things happen, there's not a single worker nearby I can talk to. These stations are full of workers. On the cars, you're lucky to have a single person that stays on for more than 3 or 4 stops.
Yeah, that was KSDK talking about a situation this weekend where something hit the window of a Metrolink train. The initial speculation by all the people on board is that it was a bullet of some sort. If you looked at the impact, it looked like the glass breakage was big enough that it might have been something bigger than a bullet. I don't know. It's hard to tell. This kid was scared to death because he's like, hey, I don't have any other choice right now. I've got to ride the bus or metro. And I felt like if that thing had come through the window, I was an inch or two from dying.
Maybe we need to get the guy back on we had, what was it, a year or two ago, who was trying to revitalize that whole metro system, because it seems as though they've made improvements that are moving it in the right direction. But unless you have a specific reason to do it, like to use it, like you're going to a Cardinals game or Mardi Gras, those are the two occasions that I would think people who wouldn't typically ride it would ride it. Other than that, it's going to be the people like that guy who say, well, I have to ride it. I don't have another option. If you have an option, chances are you're probably not choosing the metro.
I would, that's a perception they've been fighting for a long time. So I would agree with that. And years ago, I asked the people at Metro, why don't you just put an officer on every train? That's not feasible.
Was that a lack of funding issue?
They don't have, it would cost a fortune to staff every train and every ride. So then they try to do it randomly, but like that kid says, he never sees anybody.
But here's the thing, is there enough of a need for the metro? Like even if they had an officer on every one, would that make you, Mark, want to use it? Because it wouldn't make me. I'm not going to. I'm just going to drive.
It doesn't fit my lifestyle. I mean, I can't take a train to work from where I live. My choice. But at the end of the day, no, it doesn't fit my lifestyle. But what does irritate me is that if I did choose to ride it, because of their ridiculous rules, I wouldn't be able to protect myself. Yet they don't provide anybody to protect me. Now, they have upgraded some of the stations and access to the stations to make it harder for the criminals to get easy access to the trains. That's a step in the right direction. But ultimately, just like on the streets of St. Louis, it's a manpower issue. Where you have more policing, you have less crime. I think that's the end of the
We're not going to be a Chicago.
story.
We're not going to be a city that's going to rely on that.
Not going to happen. All right. Right now, we're going to give away 2 tickets to Jimmy Fallon. Hey, girl. All right. Jimmy Fallon is coming April 11th to the Factory. Tickets provided by the Factory. And you can go. We'll all be there from 97.1 helping out. Why don't we take caller number 9 in honor of today's date? Caller number 9 to 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. Caller gets a pair of tickets to see Jimmy Fallon on April 11th. We'll give away tickets every day this week. Back in a minute.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
There is an accident eastbound 70 past 270, and it is blocking the left lane. Traffic is stacking up pretty quickly behind that. We already had an earlier accident on westbound 6440 at Big Bend. Looks like they've got that cleared, but spotty volume that goes back through Hampton. Now, if you're an eastbound 64 driver, it's a little bit slow at Clarkson and 270 and just east of Lindbergh through Big Bend. 70 eastbound, of course, we have that jam at the accident at 270, but then things open up. And 44 eastbound has been in good shape this morning. 270 slowing at both directions, but just moderate volume at Ladue Road. 55 looks good and no delays on the Illinois side at this hour. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
McKelvey Homes is breaking ground on something new in O'Fallon, Strawberry Farms. When McKelvey builds something, they do it right. Visit McKelvey Homes to schedule a tour at Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today and move up to McKelvey.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Men. Need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My best advice to you when hiring a lawyer for your injury case is simple. If you know court personnel, ask them who they'd hire. They know. If you know an insurance adjuster, ask them. They know. And then ask them about us. Ask them about Morgan & Morgan. They know. I look forward to talking to you soon. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, for the people. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
100 years. That's how long Overhead Door Company of St. Louis has been repairing and replacing garage doors. A century of trust in St. Louis. Always look for the iconic red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis for same-day repair service and no extra charge for evening or Saturday service. Trust your friends at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overheaddoorstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorstlouis.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, so coming up on March 11th, down in the Capitol there in Jeff City on Wednesday, they're going to have the Missouri Right to Life Lobby Day, where they're, of course, I'm sure going to be talking about Amendment 3 and many other things in the state of Missouri. It's a day they do yearly to try to draw attention to life in Missouri and the fight, which has never been more important than it is right now. We're lucky enough to have Melissa Ohden with us this morning, and Melissa has a very personal connection to this fight, and that's why we wanted to invite her on. Melissa, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Why don't you tell the people your story as a survivor of an attempted abortion, correct?
That's correct. And, this is what I want people to understand. We often hear, a very one-sided narrative on how abortion is personal. But what I want people to understand is there is a whole group of people who are impacted by abortion whose voices are often left out of the abortion discussion. And that includes women whose abortions don't go the way they plan them to, and the children who survive it. And that is literally who I am, one of the babies who was aborted and survived it.
I've often wondered, the moms, like in your case, your mom, who tries to have an abortion, it doesn't go as planned, the baby survives, how often they say, wow, I'm so glad that's what happened.
Well, it takes some time to get there, Kim.
Sure.
If you would have told me, when I was 14 and I found out I had survived an abortion, and you would have said, hey, you know what, Melissa, someday you're going to know your story. You're going to look for your birth family. You're going to have your medical records. You're going to be an expert in court cases talking about how often this happens and the information that women need, right? I would have went, no, you have the wrong person. And so I've learned a lot over nearly 30 plus years of finding out my story. But, what I know, Kim, is that, we're pushing in upwards of at least over 2,000 times a year it happens in the United States. And we estimate that number based on the surgical failure rates out of Canada. We don't keep good statistics even on abortion in the United States. But what I can say is in today's world, when, let's say, women take the abortion pill and it fails, and weeks go by or months go by before they learn that they're still pregnant, there's a lot of shock. There's a lot of fear. There's uncertainty. There's guilt. There's shame. And so it takes a lot of support and information for them to get to a point where they say, wow, I am glad that my baby survived.
Wow. And tell, just if you don't mind, Melissa, when did you find out, and how was that news broken to you?
Yeah, so I found out when I was 14. Here I'm kind of a walking encyclopedia of information about abortion that doesn't go the way it's planned. So happy Monday morning after daylight savings time. Giddy up, folks. Yeah. I am someone who survived a saline infusion abortion, and that was the most common one performed back in the 1970s. It had a high failure rate, which is, unfortunately why they perfected other methods to make sure babies like me didn't survive abortions. But yeah, I am one who also is adopted. I actually have found in my work through the Abortion Survivors Network that most women raise their children after their abortions don't go the way they planned them to. But I am someone who was placed for adoption. And, that abortion was forced upon my birth mother when she was probably about 31 weeks. The medical record said 18 to 20 weeks, but I weighed almost 3 pounds when I survived, soaking in that solution for 5 days. And so, yeah, fast forward, placed for adoption. My parents knew the story. And, I think like a lot of parents thought the best thing to do was probably avoid the conversation, hoping that it never came up. And so it was shocking, and it was incredibly painful. And it doesn't matter if you're 14 or you're 41. I'm going to tell you, it hurts when you find out.
Sure.
You have people who sit there and say, those late-term abortions, they don't happen. Those are just made-up stories.
Well, they say that about every piece of abortion experience that doesn't fit the predominant narrative. We can put our finger on at least 10,000 late-term abortions based on the numbers that we see. And I can tell you that one of the ways that I see late-term abortions come about is women not knowing how far along they are. I hear this repeatedly with women who reach out to us. So they're having abortions. They don't know how far along they are, or they're just wrong. And so that's one way those late-term abortions happen. And, with everything that's happened in Missouri, and I'm going to kind of connect the dots on other states. I was just in Colorado last week doing some work, and I can tell you whenever there is unregulated, unrestricted abortion, we see a higher number of babies who are surviving abortions because they simply don't know what's going on. And, that's really my challenge to our culture is to say, is this what empowerment and true support of women looks like? Because I disagree with that.
Well, I'm sure part of I don't know about your comments, but part of the effort, I'm sure, on Wednesday of this week at the Pro-Life Action Day is going to be trying to turn the focus on what's going to happen here in November when we vote on Amendment 3. I mean, we're trying to draw this back, but, the state of Missouri, I don't know some of the other states you've been in, we have a very weak system, and you have enough money, you can buy your way onto the ballot with all kinds of horrible things.
Absolutely. And again, this is where I just really want our culture to slow down and listen and critically think about what really this looks like. I mean, this is more than a top line message out of the abortion industry, right? Saying we voted for this. No, I mean, this is about women's health, right? Their health, their mental health, children, the way it affects men and families. We don't treat other issues the way abortion is treated, right? Which is like, oh, we voted that we don't want this regulated and it's a woman's right and a choice and hey, good luck. And if you're maimed or, killed, good luck with that. You can't sue. I mean, these are the things that people just aren't even aware of. And so I guess that's my challenge to your listeners this morning, is to say it's up to us to educate people.
It's true. Melissa Ohden, founder and director of the Abortion Survivors Network. Thank you, Melissa, for your time.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You bet. Thanks for all you do. And you can go to MissouriLife.org to find out more about the Show Me Life Action Day that's happening this Wednesday down at the Missouri State Capitol. They're having a rally at noon, and they're going to have activities leading up to that as well. So check that out there. All right, when we come back, we will check in with one Tom Ackerman. Poor guy. He's having to suffer through life down in Florida right now with the Cardinals at spring training. We'll be right back.
Triton Exteriors, St. Louis roofing, siding, and gutter systems. We'll take care of you and your home. We're #1 in the Ladue, Kirkwood, and Webster area. James Hardy certified. Visit Triton.stl.com to be connected with a James Hardy expert and receive a free estimate. Triton-stl.com or call 314-717-1159. That's 314-717-1159. Triton Exteriors, St. Louis #1 James Hardy specialists.
If you've listened to 97.1 FM Talk, you've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio every Saturday at 2, right here on 97.1 FM Talk, and you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
This is Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates. You know, the doctors, or just the best doctors to see for your best vision in St. Louis. 314-966-5000, the doctors. They've treated more than 250 doctors. That's more than any other practice. Dr. Greg Birdie, Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Robert Bersati, Dr. Andy Royer. 314-966-5000 is their phone number. 314-966-5000. Dr. Birdie, Dr. Malhotra are cornea surgeons and experts in diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye, dry eye, allergy eye, cataracts, macular degeneration, glaucoma, LASIK surgery. The Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates, experts. Call for an appointment today, 314-966-5000, or visit them online, youridoc.com, 12990 Manchester Road, quarter-mile west of 270. 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
I'm Jennifer Scordo with Your Money Now. Oil prices are sharply higher, up by more than 13% as the war with Iran continues. West Texas Intermediate is $102 per barrel. Brent currently sits at $104 per barrel. Hims and Hers shares jumped more than 50% in pre-market trade on Monday after ending a dispute with Novo Nordisk by striking a partnership with the Danish drug giant. They will now start offering Novo Nordisk's Ozempic and Wegovy pills and injections later this month. And importantly, Novo Nordisk will dismiss its lawsuit against the San Francisco company. Airline stocks dive as oil price spike could trigger a tipping point for travelers. Even though demand for flights is high, higher fares and worries about spillovers from the Iran conflict could cause consumers to stay home. Analysts say there's still no sign that U.S. airlines are seeing any demand destruction. How long that lasts as the Middle East conflict escalates is what's unnerving investors. And on Wall Street, futures are sharply down. Friday, the Dow Industrials lost 691 points. The Nasdaq finished down 359, and that's your money now.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SOUND to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SOUND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SOUND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Watch out for an accident on eastbound 70 past 270. And we've got the left lane blocked. This has created a jam that goes back across the Blanchette Bridge. Then once you get to the Rock Road, things open up and look fine into downtown. 64 eastbound. Slow pockets east of 270 through Big Bend, with westbound still lined up at Clayton Skinker. And westbound 44 slow just due to road work approaching Shrewsbury. Looks like 44 eastbound is in good shape. 55 looks good now as well into downtown. And we are generally quiet on the Illinois side, looking good. And on the bridges headed into downtown. This report brought to you by the Diamond Shop. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
It is beautiful outside, man. Great day to look up at your roof and figure out whether or not it's time to get that thing inspected. My friend Curtis Carell would be happy to help you out with that. And just saw somebody earlier bragging about the fact that the Carell people are coming to their house even today. They got rained out one day last week, but they're going to come over and take a look. You know why? Because I reminded my friend that coming up on May 16th, so it's March 9th, you got a couple months left here. On May 16th, that's going to be the deadline for 1 year out from the last major hailstorm in the area. For most insurance companies, you have to make your claim before that 1 year deadline. The 1 year date of loss is very important. Some allow 2 years, but they do this due to prompt notice language in these policies. If you haven't had your roof checked, now is the time to do it. You call Carell Roofing, 314-222-9529. Curtis will either come over there himself or get somebody over there stat to look at your roof. And maybe you've had it inspected and were denied by your insurance company. Let Curtis take a run at that. He loves working with these insurance adjusters. He's got a lot of success doing that. He'll get up on the roof with them and look at these at the damage and point out what he's seeing so you get the attention that you deserve. It doesn't matter what kind of roof you've got. Curtis can handle them all. Great guy, family guy, military veteran. You're going to love working with him. He did a great job on my roof. Again, 314-222-9529. Tell him Mark sent you, or go online to CorellRoofingCo.com.
It's that time of year to refresh those tired, stained, and worn-out carpets for spring. Call Carpet Guy Home Services with deals starting as low as $39.95. Our professional cleaning will bring your carpets back to life. For all your home cleaning services, schedule online at www.callcarpetguy.com.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
If you need to sell your home to buy a new home, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty on your side, fighting for every dollar for you. Check out thegelmanteam.com. That's thegelmanteam.com.
Built in the heartland, for the heartland. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
A great sportsman like Tom Ackerman.
Baseball's really not a hard sport.
It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
It's like powered by coffee this morning.
Sports, sponsored by McDonald's, reminding you to round up your total for Ronald McDonald House charities on your next order.
All right, some of us, are luckier than others, and that Tom Ackerman is live down in Florida this morning covering the Cardinals. And, Tom, I hate to tell you this, but we're going to have the same temperature you are today.
I saw. I think that's awesome. I mean, what's wrong with that? So then I don't have to hear any complaining from you. No.
Well, that's true, or your wife, or anybody else, huh?
That's right. I see sunny and 76 today, 77. My goodness.
Sweet.
Yeah,
So,
that's awesome. Yeah, it's good down here. I mean, it's I just kind of settled in on Saturday late afternoon. Yesterday did the show Sports on a Sunday Morning here, and they gave us our own studio inside the complex. We're sitting in here inside the Cardinals complex right now. It is an incredible facility. I know you've probably heard us talking about this on the air, but when I got to see it with my own eyes, I'm like, oh my goodness. I didn't know to the extent that they renovated this building and then added an entire performance center, added an entire food hall basically for the entire organization, added a multi-purpose room where they can hold functions, added all this technology everywhere, enhanced the ballpark. I mean, they put a lot into it in a very short amount of time. I was just here a year ago. And they're still painting walls and still doing some things. They really won't have this completed until November. This is a project that they've been undergoing here for about a year, and as soon as we left camp last March, they started tearing stuff up, and here we are.
Well, good. So you probably haven't had a chance to see much baseball yet then, I'm guessing, huh?
No, I saw the game here yesterday.
Oh, okay.
And Andre Palante pitched really well for them. He's a guy trying to make this rotation, a veteran that is among some new faces, and the Cardinals had not a lot of offense. They tied the game yesterday 2-2, but they had some really good pitching. And I was too late Saturday to catch that game, but of course I listened to all of them and try to catch as much as I can when they're on TV. And to see them for myself will be, I think, very, very beneficial. I mean, I love being down here and getting eyes on the players. There's a lot that goes on outside of the games where you can really see what they're doing, who's working on what, and you start to get an idea of what the roster will look like. But, yeah, seeing baseball is refreshing. You know that we talk a lot of college basketball throughout the year, and I get in basketball mode, and when you come down here, it's immediate. You transform right back into where you used to be, and it's been a nice long run of covering this team, and it's great to be back.
Not to bring you back to basketball, but SLU did have a pretty tough loss over the weekend.
It was horrendous, Kim. I mean, they got absolutely shellacked at George Mason, and I don't have to say it. Josh Schertz said it himself. He said it was pathetic. He said on his scale of 1 to 10, his level of concern is a 10. They also had, this isn't an excuse, it's just reality, they had an injury to their best player. Robbie Avila played 12 minutes because he got in foul trouble, because I think when you're playing on 1 foot, it's hard to catch up with players. And he was grabbing and trying to do what he could defensively. He has plantar fasciitis, which if anybody has had that, it is very difficult to warm your foot up enough to be able to play, and they didn't think he'd be able to play in that game. Now, that's a problem. I mean, if he's not good this week and can't be at 100% on Friday, they could have some issues here in this A-10 tournament. And if your next question is, do they need to win the tournament to make the NCAA tournament, some people will tell you they don't. Some people will tell you they have to. I think they have to. And I think they have to tell the players that they have to. You cannot at this point lean on the committee to put you in. You've got to go win this conference tournament and get your automatic bid.
Yeah, so they won a share of the regular season title, right? Is that correct?
Yes, with VCU, but they swept VCU, so they're the number 1 seed. But VCU's playing better than they are. And VCU did something they weren't able to do, win at Dayton, let alone just win on the road, period. I mean, for whatever reason, the Billikens have collapsed on the road. Now, they played their best basketball in January. They played good basketball in February, but they couldn't win on the road in a big game. The good news is they don't have to play on the road anymore. Now they're at neutral sites from here on out, starting with Pittsburgh on Friday morning, and they'll play the winner of Fordham and GW. They can win that game. And then maybe at that point they can get some confidence in them that Saturday's noon game they can attack the semifinals, and then the championship is played on Sunday, on Selection Sunday. And just get that automatic bid and forget about it. But, man, there's some teams coming here. I mean, VCU looks great. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. If they're the ones staring you down on Sunday, that could be a real challenge.
Yeah, that's true. So let's get back to the MVC tournament here. I have to wonder if Kurt Warner was in the crowd when his Northern Iowa team was playing so well, huh?
Northern Iowa is coached by one of the best in the business in Ben Jacobson. And I don't think there's any question that they could be a threat if you have to face a well-coached team. And that other side, UIC, is a well-coached team. But the first number 6 seed to ever win Arch Madness is Northern Iowa, and they're way better than a 6. So this is going to be interesting here. I think that Warner, from what I understand, was not there.
Oh, okay.
But there was a column from Benjamin Hockman that he texted back to him and was excited about the Panthers, and who wouldn't be? And it's neat to see them back in there.
Yeah, well, my Miami Redskins finished the season undefeated. I guess I've been rooting for the wrong school I went to.
My daughter hit the lottery.
Losing her mind. No kidding, man.
She goes to Miami of Ohio, and they go undefeated. She said the campus is just, she's like, Dad, it is just the best every day. People are talking about it. There's a huge buzz every day about the team. And by the way, their women's team is really good too. But they are undefeated going into the MAC tournament. And, I hear all this stuff about how they shouldn't be let in if they were to lose one. I mean, come on. I mean,
31-0.
So you got to let 2 MAC teams in. But that's what I'm talking about. You
Yeah.
can't trust the committee for a second. If you're Miami of Ohio, if you're their coach Travis Steele, you've got to put the gas pedal down and say, guys, we have to win this tournament. We cannot let this fall into their hands. We have to force everybody's hand. Just go get this thing done. And they're capable of it. And that's hard to do. I don't care if you're playing against the smallest competition. Some days the shots don't go down. Some days guys get sick. Guys get injured. Some day the other team has a guy who hits 9 or 10 threes.
Right.
I mean, things happen. To go through 31 straight games victorious is a remarkable accomplishment for Miami of Ohio.
Tom, the Blues finally had a good and much-needed weekend. They had a shutout yesterday. I mean, is there any reason to be even remotely excited at this point, or is it just kind of a lost cause?
I guess somebody didn't tell them that their season's over.
Yeah, no kidding.
They've won 4 in a row, but they are 4 games under 500. What you're looking at here, Kim, is a full rebuild, not much different than the Cardinals. It's that they haven't done all of the moves yet. I mean, if they this offseason decide to trade Bennington, Parayko already blocked a trade. What if they try to trade Kyrou? I think not trading Robert Thomas means it's not a complete teardown for them. So you could have a little bit of hope here that they could actually pull this thing together in the next couple of years. I think if you trade Robert Thomas and you don't get a haul for him, that's a problem. That's why they didn't trade him. But if you don't trade Robert Thomas, or if you trade Robert Thomas, you're talking about like what the Blackhawks did, where they went 4 years with nothing because they traded all of their stars away to try to rebuild completely. The Blues actually have a young core that's decent to build around. And I think Doug Armstrong did pretty well at the deadline, all things considered. Again, they're playing well. Now, if they were to trade Bennington, you could build around Joel Hofer. He's 25 years old, had another shutout last night. They got some goals out of Snuggerud, Kyrou, Druin, the veteran that they picked up in the Shen trade. It's hard to change sometimes, but I'm happy for Braden Shen that he's with the Islanders who got aggressive. And Colton Parayko said, you know what? I don't want to do that. I want to be home. I want to be with this team moving forward. We'll see how that goes. But it's, I think anytime you can put together some wins is fun. So just, if you're a Blues fan, just enjoy.
Yeah, you enjoy too, Tom. Have fun down there in Florida.
Good to talk to you guys. Thank you.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. Tom Ackerman covering the Cardinals spring training this week, and their apparently brand spanking new facility. Sounds pretty
nice.
I'd say. All right. Did you know, Kim, happy International Women's Day?
Thank you. It's surprising. I do, yeah. And it's surprising how many people were saying the same thing, but they can't define what a woman is.
Very strange. We'll be back in just a minute.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the scene of this accident on eastbound 70, it's just past 270. They've got the left lane and the left shoulder blocked and a parking lot jam that goes back across the Blanchette Bridge. Well, now we've got an accident on southbound 170 at Page. So if you're traveling in that area, traffic is going to start to, of course, stack up behind it. This one is in the right lanes, and it's only one left lane that's getting by. Now, other than that, it's usual volume on 64, which means moderate volume between Lindbergh and Big Bend, with westbound slowing Clayton-Skinker through the inner belt, and northbound 270, a little bit slow at the Clayton Road overpass. We still appear to be quiet on the bridges downtown if you're headed in from Illinois. This report brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. For over 25 years, they have been St. Louis's trusted choice for transforming homes inside and out. Windows, siding, kitchens, baths, outdoor spaces, they deliver quality craftsmanship backed by lifetime warranties. Visit lakesiderd.com to start your dream project today. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Time to sell your house. It's time to call Gloria Liu. That's my advice. She is my realtor. I think you're going to enjoy working with her because she's very knowledgeable, 20 plus years in the business, and she's seen it all. She's seen the crazy markets. She's seen the markets that are right now, depending on where you are in your price point, right? So talk to her about that. And here's the other thing with Gloria Liu. Ask her about her guarantees. When you get her on the phone, 314-325-6888, say, hey, Marc Cox talks about you all the time. Your company's called Your Home Sold Guaranteed. How are you going to guarantee to sell my home? And what she'll tell you is, I'll sell your home or I'll buy it, and I'll sell it for 100% of market value, or I'll pay you the difference. Let her explain how that all works, but I'm just telling you, she sold my house for me about a year and a half ago, and it was a smooth experience, and she's like a personal counselor. She just she calms your nerves because that is a nerve-wracking experience, in my opinion. So if you got to make that decision, you want somebody that's going to be there with you, and you want to make sure you don't have two mortgages. That's Gloria Liu. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Her website is gloriahasthebuyers.com. Tell her Marc Cox sent you, 314-325-6888.
Jimmy Fallon. He's coming to the factory for a fun night on April 11th. Get tickets at 971talk.com or try to win them by listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show, the Annie Fry Show, and the Mark Reardon Show. All this week, one pair of tickets per show per day.
Accidents happen quickly, especially in rideshares. Whether you're the driver or the passenger, injuries can leave you with more than just physical pain. They bring uncertainty, stress, and questions about what to do next. At Kaufman Townsley, we understand the challenges you face. We're here to help you navigate the tough time, fight for what you deserve, and get you the support you need. Kaufman Townsley, real people, real results. Call 314-777-7777.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, buy one, get one room of carpet cleaned for free. Unlimited rooms of carpet. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and tell them 97.1 sent you.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IBW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Marc Cox is St. Louis conservative.
All right, shout out to my friend Tom Wright, who mentioned on Facebook a few minutes ago that he's listening to us in Hong Kong this morning. That's pretty awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah. I don't even know how many hours ahead they are there, right? Israel was 8 hours, so I don't even know. But
least,
wow, that's exciting.
Is it at least 12, right?
It's going to be it's
far
way out
more
there.
than that.
I know that for sure. But very exciting stuff. And by the way, congratulations to, was it Jennifer?
Jennifer from Imperial. Yep. She said she listens every morning and was very excited to win the Jimmy Fallon tickets earlier.
Congratulations on that, Jennifer. And maybe you won in honor of International Women's Day. Don't you think?
You know, a lot of people weren't talking about it. It was yesterday, and I kind of forgot about it until I started seeing posts from Planned Parenthood that said, celebrating all my sisters today, not just my sisters, and sisters is spelled CIS-TERS.
So if you're cisgendered, you're you're heterosexual. Is
My brain hurts with these stupid posts and the stupidity of women, seriously, who can't define a woman, and yet they want to say Happy International Women's Day.
Well,
Give
according
me
to
a
this
break.
idiot from Texas, there are 6 genders. Didn't you not know
That's true. Yeah, how did Tallarico come up with that? And would that not be offensive to the left? Because are they not of the mindset that there's more or less endless amounts? I thought the number was like at least in the 80s on the number of genders.
I did too. And they said they had reached out for comment from his campaign to figure out which one of the 6 he was, but he hasn't answered them.
Well, he's probably still trying to figure it out. And you can't box him in. That's not fair, Mark. You should be able to decide what gender you are on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
On Mondays, I'm this. On Tuesdays, I'm that.
I was reading this morning. I saw this tweet from Lila Rose, who I know you and I have talked about before. This is how many girls were killed through selective abortion worldwide. Because in societies where women are not respected, I'll say, they make abortion decisions based on the sex of the baby. Now, fitting that we had our friend on earlier, Melissa Ohden, who survived an abortion, right, as a woman. Many, many, many millions of others were not nearly so lucky. Let me read you these statistics. They call it female gendercide. Between 2000 and 2014, due to sex-selective abortion, these are the estimates of how many girls were aborted. In Vietnam, 555,000. In Pakistan, 1.28 million. In China, 9.615 million girls were selectively aborted because they were girls. And India, according to this post by Lila, has the most at 12,771,000. Wow.
That's insane. That's insane.
23, 24 million girls aborted because of their gender.
It's awful when you hear about that. People who try to claim that this type of stuff isn't going on. I mean, we were talking to Melissa about late-term abortion, and she was saying that there's statistics that show at least 10,000. What was that, the number? 10,000 very late-term abortions are going on here in the United States.
Sure.
And
yeah.
people sit there and try to say, oh, no, they don't happen like that. Yes, they do.
Boy, I'm telling you, that's some depressing news to end the day on. Sorry about that. All right, that's going to do it for us this hour. Be sure and stay tuned for Kilmeade. I'm sure we'll have the latest on this news conference this morning out of New York, where they're talking about ISIS-inspired terrorism and IEDs that were thrown at a crowd near the mayor's home yesterday. I'm sure Brian will have the very latest on that. Of course, tune in to Annie and Mark a little later in the day. And Kim and Ethan and Sue and I'll see you right back here at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. Have a great day.